If you want a textbook example of righteous hatred, you need to look no further than Commissar Yarrick. In him we see a man who justly despises his foes, and they in turn loathe him. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dawn of War discussion. Roll the music!
Breaks out of control, takes over your soul, nowhere to run. Immediate threat of destruction. Unconditional hate, they're sealing your fate, conspiracy. Restrained by the ashes of...
Hello, gentle listener. Come, sit by the fire, put your feet up on the servitor. It's okay. Everything is going to be nice. We're going to get nice. I've gone slightly Russian now, and I don't know why this has happened. I've screwed this entire thing up now with a silly voice. I do apologize. It's fine. I'm now talking to myself. But I am not alone. It's Adam here, and with me is Andy, listening to me as I slowly lose my mind.
Hello. I mean, it's a normal discussion then, let's be honest.
True, yeah, but normally I don't move into a silly voice and then talk to myself in the silly voice.
I'm not quite sure where you're going with it. I was just letting it play out, see how it was going, you know?
The idea was it was going to be like, come, put your feet up on the servitor, have a nice cup of decaf, and just sit back and relax. But it all just went wrong. It all went horribly wrong.
I'm surprised they said decaf and not just recycled urine, which is probably what most people in the 40k universe drink.
Drink your recycled urine. Go now. You'll feel better for it afterwards.
How much recycled urine do you think people drink on just like one spaceship? Quite a lot, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 90% recycled wee.
Yeah.
10% actual water.
Yeah.
Although, a thought just occurs.
All right.
You're in space, right?
Yeah.
Right, space is cold, isn't it?
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. So why do you not just have, like, super soakers that you put through the window, fire the super soaker out the window, and then you have somebody with a net below, like, further back, who catches the ice, brings it inside, and you've got water. Because you still need the water to fire out of the window.
Yeah, I was going to say, look.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in a strange one tonight. I do apologize.
I like the idea that someone's like, let's throw the water outside. Why? So we can have more water. And everyone on the ship's like, yes, we will do this. This
All right,
is
then.
fine.
You've got a spaceship with a big butterfly net on the top of it that just catches ice asteroids, and that's where you get your water from for the spaceships.
That sounds too useful. And I don't think they'd prioritize getting water for people when they could just recycle urine.
True. This is true. Yeah.
It's the Imperium. We're there to fight things. We're not there to like let our people drink not urine.
You think over the millennia, like humanity in the 41st millennium isn't actually human anymore, because they've had to drink all this recycled urine, and they've had to eat all of this like cannibalistic stuff. And so, if they were given like an actual steak and a orange juice, they would just keel over and die.
No, because I think the rich would be all right.
Yeah. Just the people at the very bottom.
Though you could probably give like someone in the bottom rung factory like a Greg's and they'd be over the moon. You could probably give them spam, just like a tin of cold spam, and they'd be happy as well. A pot noodle, they'd love a pot noodle, and pot noodles are shit.
They are the worst food.
I'd take Soylent Green over a pot noodle.
And we've had a discussion about why you don't like Soylent Green.
We have, yeah. Has that gone up yet?
Yeah. That's up now. Yeah.
Have people responded? I want to know what the people thought. What would they choose? Would they choose Soylent Green or People Meat? Did they say?
I think I saw one person say that they'd rather go for Soylent Green. Just because
they're wrong.
Just because it looks nothing like actual human meat.
What's the difference between a steak that's from a human and a cow? They look the same.
I think you'd just know more, wouldn't you?
You wouldn't know. If I brought out two steaks and I didn't tell you which was which, you wouldn't know. Get out of here. The meat doesn't just look at you and say, I was a person, and the other bit of meat goes, Mrr.
Although the weird thing is that the human meat, it would look like cow meat, but it would taste like chicken.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And that'd be a really weird experience. Like, what's with this meat chicken?
But chicken tastes good, so what's the problem?
Chicken does taste good. Chicken is a glorious experience, and I feel sorry for people in the 41st millennium who don't have chickens anymore. Do chickens exist in 40k?
Yes, in the warp. Chaos chickens. Why don't we have chickens for the boarding actions kill
Mhm.
team? Why are there not like giant chickens in there?
I actually want to know an answer to this.
Or you could at least have like a chicken in Disciples of Zinj or something Zinj related, surely. Maybe people fear chickens. Maybe they're like it's too silly to do a chicken. Maybe that's the problem.
Oh my word! 3 hours ago, somebody put something on Reddit saying, "Do chickens exist in 40k?"
Oh my god.
I was reading Cypher's Kane for the Emperor. I reached the part where he was getting ready to lead some PDF troopers into an industrial zone, and we noticed how some sentinels, which are 40k AAT ST walkers, looked like chickens, which I found funny and continued reading. But then it clicked with me. How would Cyphers know what chickens are or how they looked? Didn't all the livestock die during the Age of Strife?
Yeah, yes.
Let's have a look.
To be fair, there'd be more things with backwards legs than just chickens, though, I would imagine.
Chickens as both animals and food are mentioned several times in Space Wolf.
Really?
In Vaults of Terror, the Carrion Throne and Cadian Honor.
Really? I don't remember. I'm sure they are, but I don't remember that.
Cows are dead.
In the 41st millennium, cows are dead.
Goats still exist. Horses still exist. Pigs still exist.
Hang on, why are the cows dead?
Because it was cheaper and easy to rear grocs than it was for cows. So the cows died
we've got
off.
horses and goats.
Oh no, cows are also mentioned in Hollow Mountain.
Oh, so, okay, so the cows do exist.
So no one in the Imperium has ever seen a cow because they're all in controlled facilities where they're overfed with hormones and harvested. Jesus Christ.
Does that mean in that factory it's like the special level in Diablo? They're all just like super cows.
I'm thinking of the that piece of that sequence in Quake 4 where you get strokified.
Oh yeah,
it's just cows going. I'm fascinated now. Screw Dawn of War. I want to know about chickens.
Warhammer chickens.
Chickens were on Caliban. They were known as being genetically ancient.
Were they the revered, honored chickens?
Absolutely.
The Order of the Chicken. How are chickens able to survive on Caliban? Caliban's like what's it called? A red world or a danger world where they're just like monsters everywhere?
Yeah, this was before the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, but the monsters must have existed before the Horus Heresy.
That's a good point, yeah. Chickens
the monsters didn't just pop up.
Yeah, they were coming out the woods. The monsters would have been just coming out the woods to devour everything and sundry. Oh man, what do the chickens know that we don't?
Maybe Caliban was like the ultimate environment for chickens, so there was just like a surplus of chickens. Thus, it didn't matter how many monsters ate them. There were always just loads of chickens. You know how like nature kind of balances out that way? Like there are millions of bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there were just like millions of chickens and even billions of bugs for them to eat.
I'm not thinking of that like that paste that you got in Snowpiercer, but it's just got like a chicken foot sticking out of it.
The ground up. To be fair, ground up chicken is I mean, you get that in McDonald's, don't you, with the chicken nugget?
That's very true. Yeah, absolutely. You know? Yeah.
But yeah, I would prefer a chicken nugget from McDonald's to the brick of gelatinous black goo that was in Snowpiercer. That was just bugs.
Would you prefer to have Soylent Green or Wall Rat?
What's a wall rat?
It's a creature native to the hive cities of the world of Medusa, often eaten roasted on a stick.
What's it look like?
No pictures. It's just I'm going to assume it's like a rat but with like spider legs.
Oh yeah, I'd eat that. Yeah, sure. I've always wanted to eat like a crocodile or an alligator because I hear that kind of tastes like chicken.
I've had alligator. I really enjoyed it. It was had an alligator burger a couple of years back.
That's just the thing you do, isn't it? It's like we've got a meat. What do we do? Bun it. Burger.
Yeah,
easy.
Well, it's the joke, isn't it? Alien species finds this brand new life form. It's like, Oh, I will take you home instead of you. Human finds it and just throws it into a frying pan.
Burger.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there was an Indian spot that was just down the road from us, where we used to live, and they would get weird meat in, like for a short period of time each month. So
Oh.
you'd have like alligator, crocodile, what else was there? Gazelle. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you go in, it's like, what's on the special meat menu? It's like,
Did you have to give them like a special handshake to get the access to the meat menu?
when the first time we ever went in, the chef came out to eye me and Abby up.
Really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
kid
wow.
you not. Because I'd ordered
Did they go into the back and there was like two white people came in asking for the mystery meat? And they was like, white people, why are they here?
Well, no, it's because I ordered a really strong curry, and
Oh.
the chef came out to check
Oh.
me out to make sure I was going to be able to handle it.
Oh, no. Did you handle it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'd had it multiple times over the years in different places,
Oh.
but it was like quite a rare type of curry that you don't see very often. So I was like, yes,
Ah,
absolutely,
that's neat.
because it's not like a Glaswegian hot, like a jalfrezi or something like that. It's like
Yeah.
there's a lot of heat to it, but it's also a lot of flavour, loads of flavour.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was actually made. It's one of those weird things about an Indian curry where it was actually made in India,
Oh, wow. Neat. Okay.
unlike the majority of Indian curries, which were made either in Birmingham or Glasgow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's bizarre.
Or I'm welcome because I like those curries.
Oh yeah, well, me too. Absolutely. I cook in curries as well. I quite like the fact that my search now for chickens has now got to the point where the search says must include chickens.
Well, I mean, it is what you're looking for.
It is.
Yeah. Man,
Anyhow,
chicken. What have we ever had a mollusk person in like Beasts of Chaos, like a person who's turned slightly into a slug, who's got like a giant shell for a body?
you'd have to go right back to the original Realm of Chaos books for that.
That's a shame. We need more of them. That'd be fun.
I was about to reach for my Realm of Chaos books, which I normally have sitting next to me, but I've moved them earlier on. Like, oh no!
Like having a giant shell body made of chaos, woo woo. It'd just be like, oh, very very difficult to penetrate the armor. The body slithers out, kind of envelops somebody. Have you ever seen like a slug or a snail eat? How it just kind of weirdly munches and it just kind of gets absorbed. You could have that on a person. That would work.
Ugh. I always remember watching a documentary about snails years and years ago, and it showed how snails mate, and it's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life.
Do you not feel weird just like watching animals having sex though? Is that not like the first thing that's weird?
Yeah, a little bit. It's like, look at that monkey go.
Go on, son. Get your dick in there.
That chimp's having a wank. Because it's just watching the other two go for it. That's all right. Okay.
The only thing you got to watch out for if a chimp's having a wank is it doesn't throw it at you afterwards.
I remember going to Edinburgh Zoo last year and just watching as one monkey threw a full head of lettuce into another monkey's head. The monkey just fell off a tree. And Joseph was absolutely killing himself.
I'm not surprised. That's great.
Still not the best story of taking Joseph somewhere. Took him to a local convention last weekend. Took him to MegaCon. And they had a wrestling show on at the same time.
Oh.
So Joseph's not really watched any wrestling or anything yet. He was watching it, and every time somebody was like thrown to the floor, he was just clapping and going...
Violence.
He just kept turning, no, Daddy, when they get hurt, you have to laugh.
Oh my God.
Not sure that's the way it works. Not sure at all.
No, you should only laugh at people who are doing like parkour because they're doing stupid things and they're kind of asking for pain.
Yeah. I never understood parkour.
I think it's impressive to watch, but it's just like if you get hurt, I'm not going to feel bad for you.
No, I think it's when you're like a proper parkour artist, so to speak, and you're doing stuff for films and things. I think it's incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
But when you're Billy from Burnsley, and you're just basically jumping up and down a wall, yeah, not so much.
I thought you were going to say Workington.
Well, weirdly enough, Workington did have a massive parkour and skate culture.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
Because it was a because that's just what it was.
Yep. Yeah.
Should we talk about some Dawn of War then?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
So Andy probably has played Dawn of War more than I have, to be fair. I did play the original one quite a lot back in the day, back in 2004.
Yeah. I wish it told me on Steam when it actually came out originally, but it doesn't. Just says the Game of the Year version. No, it didn't even say then. It says last time I played, which isn't very helpful. Yeah, it came out a long, long time ago.
September the 20th, 2004.
Woo!
Yeah.
Sheesh.
2 expansion packs: Winter Assault in 2005, Dark
Mhm.
Crusade in 2006, and Soulstorm in 2008. Dawn of War
Yes.
2 was released in February 2009, and then Dawn of War 3 was released in 2017. That one feels weird to me, actually.
Which one? Third one
Dawn
and
of War
second?
3, that feels like it was more recent than 2017.
Oh no, not to me. No, that I played it. That felt a long time ago. I played it
Okay.
once, and I was like, never again.
Fair enough.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
So, we'll start off then with a really simple one of Andy. What were your memories of playing Dawn of War? How did you come to it? Did you just buy it on a whim? How did it all start?
I actually don't know how I came across Dawn of War, but I still have the original box and CD version on my shelf, so I still have that from when I got it originally. But I don't know like how it came into my knowledge, my viewpoint. Just on the basis, like I wasn't a big PC gamer. I had the PlayStation 2 and stuff like that around that time period. So I don't know what made me. I guess I was looking for a strategy game, an RTS, and consoles don't really provide good ones. They still
No.
don't. Maybe I saw the intro for it. Maybe that's what it did. The intro, little opening cinematic. Maybe. Well, if it was 2004, I would have still had some knowledge of what Warhammer was at that point because I'd already had Warhammer at that point. So maybe I did see this and went, "Oh shit, Warhammer! Okay, well I'll give this a try." And I had played previously like Final Liberation and Shadow of the Horned Rat and stuff like that. So
the best games ever made.
I know Fire Warrior is the best game ever made. Actually, when did Fire Warrior come out? Was that after this or before this?
That was before this.
Oh, I did play Fire Warrior as well.
I'm sorry.
I didn't finish it. Never finished it.
Yeah, September 2003 was Fire Warrior.
Oh.
I always find it really weird that THQ and Games Workshop made a game in order to get the Tau to be popular.
Yeah, and they were the main characters. You played as the Fire Warrior. It's kind of interesting.
And Fire Warrior, it's not a cheap, shitty little game. A lot of money got spent in it. It's not a great game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not
a cheap shitty game, but it is definitely a shitty game.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's not a good game at all. But,
no.
And I will never ever forgive them for having Brian Blessed be a Tau.
that was the choice.
Was he a Tau or was he an Eldar? He was a Tau, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way you cast Brian Blessed as an Eldar. Can you imagine that? No. That's insane.
Beware my slightly effeminate stance. I am the Eldar.
The butchest Eldar you've ever heard. This must have been like an attempt of a palate cleanser after Fire Warrior, then, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, it's I just find it's a real weird little thought there. But I just find it really weird that Fire Warrior existed. Yeah, it's such a weird thing where Games Workshop went, well, we've got this new race. Can we get someone to make a game about them? Yeah, all right, fair dues. Just imagine that now. Imagine a game suddenly pops out, and it's not a shitty little mobile game. It's a proper game, and it's all just like you're playing as the Votan.
That would be really cool.
It would be really cool, but it's weird, isn't it? You can't imagine it happening.
The closest thing we've got is Age of Sigmar Ruin? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah,
Ruin,
that's the closest thing we've got, and like we're in the third year of AOS at this point, and we've had maybe 3 AOS games, and they have all been pretty mediocre. So this looks like the first AOS game that's not going to be complete tat.
Yeah, it's not shovelware.
Yeah. So it would be nice. It would be nice if we went a bit more into this, but Maybe there's just too much risk in doing something like that, I guess.
Well, I think that's the problem, isn't it? If it's not a AAA game, then you just don't know how it's going to do. And
Which is silly because they made the Orc game, which is an indie game effectively.
looters,
Daka?
shooters, and Daka,
That's the
yeah,
one. Yeah, the looter shooter one. Yeah.
and that's really fun. That's tons and tons of fun.
Yeah, it's really basic. It's not anything too extreme, but it's like, oh, it's not expensive either. It's like, yeah, it's fun. You're in
One of
and
the
out.
Yeah, one of the levels has a little shrine to Commissar Yarrick, and that makes me so
Yeah.
happy. Yeah, there's. Did you ever see that Gorkamorka game that never came out?
Which one? When? What time
Oh, about
period?
2000. It was PS2 era, so about
Oh, then
2004 or
no.
so.
I didn't
Um,
know I was going to get one.
yeah, there is an actual rolling demo of a Gorkamorka game.
Huh.
It's on YouTube. I will find it for you later on. It's really weird to see. It's like, yeah, that looks like it would have been great. 'Cause it's basically just Twisted Metal with orcs.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's like, why did this not come out? Why did Fire Warrior come out and this didn't?
Oh, is it Dreamcast and PC?
That's the one. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've got the trailer for. Yeah, I mean this the bitrate on this video is absolute anus. It's terrible. The
really.
90%. Yeah, the it's been it's pixely to hell.
It's been compressed to shit and back.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, there was quite a nice one I saw. I'll have to see if I can find it in my histories and send you to it.
Well, I
Send you
guess you
to
got
it.
Speed Freaks that came that's been announced recently, which I
That's
guess is
true.
the sort of successor.
Yeah, but it's not based on Angelus, and
No, well, it never will be. They don't want to do
no,
Gokamoka. They want to do Speed Freaks. It's like no, do
yeah,
Gokamoka.
yeah. Get back to Gorkamorka. Come on,
Yeah, come
people.
on.
I'm telling you now, the reason that Necromunda's coming to an end is because they're going to do Gorkamorka.
Do you remember when they moved away from the Hive City and did the desert stuff for a really small
Yeah,
amount?
yeah.
And then they didn't really expand on that, and it's like, well, that's strange.
Mm-hmm.
What a weird expansion that they never really. I don't think they did a lot with personally, but
I mean, there's bits and bobs, but yeah, it was.
yeah,
I think it was the last remnants of some ideas that they had, and just to try and get them out there.
yeah.
But
But you would have thought with the expansion to desert, you could move in and do I don't know a decent amount of other things potentially,
yeah, yeah, you'd have thought.
or just move into Gorkamorka, like you say.
Yeah, why they didn't make Necromorka a Gorkamunda?
Necromorka. Oh, Gorkamunda. That's a good name. That's
Yeah,
a good name.
why they didn't make a Gorkamunda, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just port the Necromunda rule set over, make a new
Yeah.
Gorkamorka.
Yeah, you could get like for scenery as well. You could like cut a knight in half and place a knight just like stuck in the ground and have buildings built around it and out of
Yeah,
it. That'd be fun.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do all sorts with it, and it's a weird one. It's people want it, but it's like more time. People want it, they're never gonna get it.
Yeah. Is it rights? Is it a rights issue for Mordheim?
No. Games Workshop own it all. I think it's a mixture of they don't really want to go back that often, if that makes sense. They want to make new stuff rather than go back. It's why that there hasn't been a Space Hulk in nearly 10 years now.
Is it just to push as well? Like we want to do the war cries and stuff like that, rather than the single box game.
Yeah. That's a big
shame.
part of it.
Can we not just get rid of Underworlds? Can we not just like get rid of that and have Mordheim instead?
Underworlds is really popular in the beers and pretzel era. Like,
yeah, well, that's stupid.
and it's there's a lot of tournaments on it as well.
It's so boring, though. I don't get it.
No, I'm not a fan of
It's so
Underworlds
boring.
Either.
We
It's not
tried
my-
our best. I think we tried our best when we streamed games together. Of
We
that. I think we did our
did.
best. And fuck,
We-
Jesus, it's so dull.
It really was. It was painfully dull and not good. It really wasn't good.
Like even video game wise, the Mordheim video game is more interesting than the Underworlds video game.
Yeah, and you kind of run out of interest with that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Did you see the old world MMO, the mobile MMO that came out?
No? When?
Yeah. Oh, it's about 2 years ago now. So there is an actual MMO which you can play on your phone, right?
That's probably why I don't know of it.
It's actually pretty good, surprisingly, right?
All right.
I played a Troll Slayer for. I must have got 60 hours out of it.
Well, that's not bad.
I easily got 60 hours out of it before I started losing interest. But yeah, it's surprisingly good. And on the Discord, we had maybe about 4 people playing it.
Okay.
And just we just like go off and do raids and things with it. Yeah, it's very much an MMO, so it has all the issues of being an MMO.
Sure, yeah.
But considering the fact it was free and it was on the phone and all that type of thing, yeah, I could not say anything bad about it at all.
Yeah.
So, strange one, that. Here's a question for you then. So what is the all-time best adaptation of a Games Workshop property into a video game?
It's either Dawn of War or Space Marine.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those two. But they're both very, very different games.
Absolutely.
So I don't know which you'd pick. I think probably Dawn of War is if we're talking about the best expansion for Dawn of War, which is Dark Crusade, probably Dark Crusade is better than Space Marine. If we're talking about Soulstorm, Space Marine's better than Soulstorm. I don't know how you compare the very first one, because it's weird, because the first game is, especially once you compare it to Soulstorm and Dark Crusade, it's so limited because there's only 4 armies in it. It's shocking how you forget how few things there is in that very first game. There's only the Orcs, there's only Chaos, Eldar, and Space Marines, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
weird.
It is. It's a really weird one, and this is a good place to lay down something I really wanted to get into before we get into the meat and potatoes of Dawn and War, and that is that there's a rumor that won't fucking die.
Oh no!
And the rumor is that Warcraft, the original Warcraft Orcs and Humans, was meant to be a Warhammer game.
I've heard that as well.
Right?
Yeah,
it's not true.
No, I didn't think it was. I thought it was interesting if it was, but I was like,
No. So Blizzard had a singular, not even in-person conversation with Games Workshop. Nothing came of it. They went off and did their own thing.
Right.
Okay. That's all it comes from. However, if you dig down a little bit further, when Dawn of War was first being kind of shopped around, well before it was called Dawn of War, or it had a concept, the idea that there was going to be an RTS thrown down, there was a conversation from Games Workshop to Blizzard about an RTS. Once again, nothing came of it, because it ended up being THQ who ran with the idea. So it's interesting in a couple of ways how those two things mirror each other, and I think that's probably where that rumor comes from. Because that rumor goes on to say that StarCraft was going to be a 40k game.
No,
it wasn't. That it's never been the case at all.
You say Warcraft could be? Yeah, I could see why you would think that. StarCraft was way later than Warcraft. At that point, there was no way. No way.
No, I mean, by the time StarCraft came out, Warcraft 2 would come out and dominated.
That's the thing, yeah, because it's not like Warcraft 1 is not similar to StarCraft 1 at all. They're completely different games. Completely different. It's shocking how different the first Warcraft game is to the second. I remember going around to my friend Ben's house, and he was like showing off Warcraft for the first time, and I didn't understand. He played the what level was it? I think he was playing the Horde level, where you start off with a load of troops at the entrance of a mine.
Yes.
And he was struggling to get through it. I didn't know what was going on, so I couldn't really help him or anything like that. I was like, wow.
That was a shit of a level.
Yeah, it was rough from what I remember.
Yeah. You got halfway there, you managed to pick up some ogres that would help you, and that was good. But yeah, there is a lot more D&D in the that original Warcraft than there is Warhammer. The only thing that it really has is the very green orcs, which of course D&D didn't have at that time. They had that sort of weird pinky brown orc that was more pig-like. Yeah, it's just one of those really interesting things.
Oddly enough, I think the first Warcraft game could have been quite good replacement for Shadow of the Horned Rat. Like, instead of like the your troops, you got like a Grudgebringer and his guys, and you could play it that way instead. That might have worked a little bit better for Shadow of the Horned Rat. But then Shadow of the Horned Rat, I think, just could have. If Shadow of the Horned Rat came out again and got remade, I think that could be quite a fun little game, but it would need to be made more like, Total War Warhammer or something like that. I think it could work then.
And then what's the point in remaking it when you have Total War Warhammer?
Because you get Grudgebringer, and I love
You
that
do.
mercenary group. You get
Shadow
Olaf, not the brown wizard, the amber wizard, the amber wizard.
Shadow of the Horned Rat is a game that is a punishment. Uh, I mean, that game does not let you make mistakes. Jesus Christ. It will
No,
attack every mistake you make, and it
no.
is.
Even on PC, it's still not the easy. It's way easier to play than on PlayStation. It's
Mhm.
still not an easy game to play just because of
No.
how slow it is to move the camera around and
Mhm.
faffy it is to position your troops and stuff like that. And there was never a good mechanic for like clicking on all your troops, hitting the strength button, and having to do that for every unit engaged in melee combat. It was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
But it had such a good cast of like interesting mercenary groups.
It did. It did. And it had an amazing intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had Thanquol in as well.
It did. It really did.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, it's so good. Well, it's a really weird thing where I kind of miss games looking like that. I know that
Yeah.
they're ugly and I know they're a bit muddy, but there's just something about that
Well,
style of game.
Well,
And,
here's the thing: you can still do that style and just update the look of it and make it
oh yeah,
cleaner, and it works really
yeah.
well still. And there are indie games that do stuff like that.
No, I,
And I do appreciate it when you see those games.
there's always something about seeing something that looks like that, and you feel that someone's put a lot more work in, rather than a 3D model, which I know they take a lot of work, but you just kind of look at it and yes, that's a 3D model. Then you look at like Amiga level cutscenes. You're like, look at that! Someone sat there and drew every pixel.
I mean, it's what's better, a painting or a sculpture?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the argument there.
Oh,
You like
absolutely.
the painting. I think it depends. I think for me, it always comes down to the style rather than if it's
Yes,
2D or 3D. The style of it is very important for me more so than anything else. Because my issue with a lot of modern games is the need to make it look realistic.
agreed.
I don't like the need to look realistic. I like stylistic choices.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I'm into.
yeah. It's one of the reasons why a lot of modern games just leave me cold these days,
I can see
and
that.
it's because there's nothing in there that makes me excited to play it. Nothing that makes me go, ooh, blasphemous, or the Dark Souls games. I'm definitely interested in them because there is a very unsettling style, yes, but there is a style that is throughout all of the design that you see.
Mm.
Whilst I'm trying to think of another modern game, and I can't think of anything because my interest just loses any grip very, very quickly. The
I
first
tell
thing
you
I,
what, a good
the first thing I can
example
think of is Gears of War, and that's years ago now.
the game that initiated the brown and gray in video games
God
is
damn it! Like,
yeah. I tell you what, a good example is of like lost style. Final Fantasy VII compared to Final Fantasy VII remake.
yeah, 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 I can
Like,
see that.
granted, Final Fantasy VII when it originally came out was amazing to look at,
Hmm.
and it is very dated, but it has like this interesting visual style. And you try and transplant some of those monsters into the much more realistic Final Fantasy VII remake, and they don't work.
No,
They
no, they
don't
look
look right.
ridiculous.
They look
No,
really out of place.
I told you my plan for making a Final Fantasy style dungeon crawler game.
No.
It's so what you do is the players obviously they have to go through the dungeons like it was a Final Fantasy style dungeon crawler.
Oh yeah.
The games master has a deck of cards, and when they go into a room and you roll and there's a monster in there, the DM rolls a dice and that's how many cards he picks. He goes, "This monster has first card 2 heads, the body of a house, 17 legs," and so. If you roll a 6, you've got 6 cards, and that shows you what the monster you're fighting is going to be.
So
So you
what
get
you
this.
want to do is you want to take the Chaos random mutation chart
Mhm.
and just make it a card game, and then put it into a video game.
No, not into a video game, into a tabletop.
Oh, tabletop
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I wouldn't want to make video games; they're boring.
I thought it was a bit weird that you said you wanted to have a video game. I was like, that sounds weird for Gruff these days.
No,
Okay,
no.
yeah.
Tabletop, physical. That's the way you do it. People sitting around a table, actually having social experiences. None of this sitting online telling other people to suck your manhood. I don't know. What do the kids say these days? YOLO
No,
or some shit.
that's probably still true. That's why you don't
Ah,
play. That's why you don't play online games because
no,
yeah.
no,
I mean, I
no.
don't like Call of Duty. I've never liked Call of Duty, so never, never.
No. Although saying that, I do have the original, not the original, the remake of Quake to play through at some point.
Yeah, it's
Which
fun. Yeah, it's fun.
I'm looking forward to doing that.
Bit grimy visually.
Yeah,
Bit grimy.
yeah, but I love that.
I kind of meant
Although,
in the brown, kind of muddy look.
mhm, there's just something about running around these like brown castles with like a rocket launcher that I just really
You
enjoy.
said you didn't like Gears of War because it was brown.
I know, but it's a different type of brown.
Oh no.
There's shades of brown. You know about the Bristol chart, don't you? It's like that, but
Oh no, I don't know the Bristol chart.
the Bristol chart. It's the chart that medical professionals use to see what's happening with your body from your poo.
Oh, okay.
Just look up the Bristol chart.
Huh.
You can see different types of poo and what it tells you about your
If
body.
if it's black, that man's been drinking a lot of Guinness.
Or you've got internal bleeding.
Nah, yeah, one of the
So,
two.
a little bit of column A, a
Well,
little bit of column B.
maybe it's the Guinness that's causing the bleeding. To be fair,
Well, you will have it with that glass shards just poured in.
it's true. Hey, if you it might not even be poo at that point. It might be coal, and if you're pooing out coal, well, you're an environmental hazard at this point these days. But you will be able to sell that poo to people. That coal poo.
You're
Back in the
not
day,
using
you'd
it.
be a wonder. You know, can you
Absolutely,
imagine
yeah.
someone that could put coal poo? They'd be ecstatic. Be like, we're
So,
not going to freeze to this winter.
you know, not with good old poo Andy going around and
Nah.
shitting out the coal every Christmas.
Pooing over a fireplace.
Just sitting over the top of the chimney. This is where the story of Santa Claus comes from. This man who goes around shitting his coal down people's chimneys.
Just with a bag full of potatoes so I can restock. Well, I'm getting a little light. Time to eat another raw potato.
Crunch, crunch. Oh man, a bit of salt on that one. Yeah.
What a sad life for Santa.
That's why in Greek Santa translates as shit man. It's
Oh my god.
probably not true, but I'm going to say it is.
Would Santa
Anyhow,
wear, no, in Greece, he'd wear like a robe, wouldn't he?
just wear sandals and a hat. That's
Yeah.
that's literally it.
He's
I'm gonna
nude otherwise. Oh my god, Santa. You little rapscallion.
He is known as Eos Valesios.
That's
He
a
is
good name.
the father of Christmas, an older man with a white beard wearing a red cape. And funnily enough, it doesn't say about anything else he's wearing, so I'm
Oh
sticking
my
with
god.
It's,
He is a rapscallion. Oh my god.
yeah, it's just a red cape and sandals and just wandering around, throwing his ass to children.
I think the best variation of Santa's Krampus, you know, definitely, right?
There is another one. There's a German one. Hang on, evil German. Blah.
Evil German Santa. What a name.
Oh no, that is Krampus. It's not German. Oh, what's the other one? Evil Santa. Yes, not Krampus. I want the other one.
His less famous friend.
Yeah, there's like a way out there bizarre. Um. Do.
What's he look like? Does he still look like Krampus or like Santa-ish?
It's actually worse than Krampus.
Really?
Like,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Why do some countries have a evil Santa? It's in here somewhere. You've got. Sorry, the person who wrote this was called Isabella from Portsmouth, and I thought it was like, hang on, that's a really weird name for an evil Santa.
Isabella. To be fair, Isabella does sound quite sinister.
You've got Black Peters in Turkey.
Oh.
You've got Odin,
Oh.
which, yeah, if you follow the legend back far enough, Odin was he would either bring you presents or whip you with a bit of birch.
Oh, hello, Odin. What are you doing this? Yeah! Woo! Why? You know.
Well, what's funny as well is that Odin, of course, rides on Sleipnir, so you just have this multi-legged horse landing on your cottage roof of a night. Oof.
Yeah, it was a big horse too, wasn't it?
It was massive.
Yeah. It just
It
come
was
through the top of your roof, to be fair.
just come through your wall. Merry fucking Christmas.
Odin, what are you doing here? Oh, I came to whip you. No. No.
You get a present. You get a present. You get a present. You get whipped.
Maybe,
Aww.
maybe he's like Two-Facey and has to flip a coin per person.
Has to flip a child.
Yeah. One child.
So just picks up the youngest child and flips them. Heads, you get whipped. Tails, you get a present.
But my child has a head. Well, looks like you're getting whipped, son. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, he landed on edge. Have to do another one.
Flip him again.
Oh, that one landed in the lake. Oh, no. Oh, Odin, have you been drinking again? Shut up, woman. I'm flipping children. Dawn of War.
Dawn of War. Dawn of War.
So Dawn of War is a really weird franchise because unlike other franchises that exist, each entry into the franchise decides to go a very different way and be a different game each time.
Well, 3 kind of didn't. 3 kind of tried to go back to the first game and do the second game at the same time and did both poorly.
Yeah, it didn't do either of them well, which
No.
is something of a shame.
I do hear some people say give Dawn of War 3 a break. I'm like, no. No. I shall not, because it was bad. But we should talk about the other games again before we go on to 3, because there's a lot to complain about with 3, I think.
Absolutely. So the first game, it's quite cool because you get the Blood Ravens, at that time, in 2004, a completely new chapter, who then, weirdly enough, got a lot of face time in White Dwarf for the next couple of years.
Must have been the time to this, for the reason, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah. So the Blood Ravens were created for the game, and then, of course, to tie into the game and to advertise the game, White Dwarf did a lot of stuff with the Blood Ravens, being the Imperium's version of the Necrons, as they are, running around stealing anything that isn't nailed down.
Only their own stuff, theoretically,
True.
right?
Well, everything's your own stuff once you've stolen it.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I like the way you think. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
But one of the things I really like about this is many, many years after playing this, you were in the same boat as well, Andy, where you're at a certain convention and a certain Scott McNeil turns up and you just go, I just realised that you're in Dawn of War.
Oh, I didn't just realize that. I knew for a while because it's just so. He's just so like. There's just a lot of Beast Wars cast members in this game.
There is actually, yeah.
There's a huge amount. It's just Scott McNeil's just like aggressively Scott McNeil, especially as Sindri, the sorcerer.
Oh God, yeah. There's a man who I remember listening to an interview with him years ago, and it was just after he'd done some Wolverine stuff. And he just quit smoking. He just went, there's just no gravel in my voice anymore. And Wolverine sounds like a pussy.
Oh, Scott, no. I bet he still sounded good. I bet he did.
Yeah, but...
Your lungs will be thankful for you not to smoke as well, Scott. Not that he listens to the show, I don't think.
we'll send him this. Just like
I'm glad he doesn't smoke. Hopefully.
Hopefully he stayed off it.
Yeah.
Especially after allegedly setting off a fire alarm in a certain hotel in Birmingham.
Oh, that was a while ago. But yeah, he was also Lord Bale as well, where he just did the Dinobot voice from Beast Wars.
Yes, which is so weird, isn't it?
It's you hire Scott McNeil to talk to himself. It's just that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So many times.
Which other Beast Wars actors are in this?
I know Ron Newman is. He's in it. He's one of the Imperial. I think he's the commissar. Not in this one. In like Winter Assault and Forwards, he's the commissar.
Right. I'm just trying to pull up a cast list because it's.
I'm pretty sure the orc, like what's his name? It's not Gazgul. I can't remember what the main orc in the Dawn of War series is off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I know him. I can't remember what from.
I've just found a 2020 Russian film called Dawn of War. If you'd like to know the the characters who played in that. Right. So, in the Blood Ravens, we have nothing because my
Brian
computer.
Dobson was the Space Marine's voice. Michael Dodson. Brian and Michael Dodson, the Dodson boys, both Space Marines. Nicola Oliver as the Farseer Matcha. Peter Newman as Mad Doc. Scott McNeil, Lord Bale, Sindri, Space. It says, Space Marine Sergeant Matthias, Demon Prince Sindri, and Servitor. Yeah, that makes sense. Richard Ian Cox as the cultists. Tony Gronick as the Dreadnought voice. Tim Lewinson as the narrator. Paul, another Dobson. My God, they got all the Dobsons. Paul Dobson as Gabriel Angelos.
Okay, so that's there's a couple of names I recognise in there. I'm trying to work out where I know Tim Lewinson from. So that's a name I recognise for something, but I can't think what it's
Known
from.
for the need for speed, all the Dawn of War games. That's it. That's all they've got him listed as.
Fair enough. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
Maybe.
But no, I love the fact that you've got entire sections of Scott McNeil just doing what Scott McNeil does, which is have full conversations with himself.
Yeah.
And he probably did them all in one take as well.
More than likely. Like, I will say the story for the first Dawn of War games, not anything crazy. It doesn't do anything super unusual. You start off fighting orcs as the orcs have invaded. You find out that they're being the orcs are being manipulated by chaos. Chaos supplants them. And then you've just got to stop a demon incursion. And that's kind of the story at the end of the day. It's fine.
I was going to say, isn't it almost exactly the same story as the first Space Marine game?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's the most basic story
Yep.
you generally do. You use the orcs or somebody to be your kind of main focus, and then it just is supplanted by chaos by the end because they were actually the ones behind it all along.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It was me, Angelos. It was me all along.
no, but I like you have the turning of the librarian. He becomes crazier, more corrupted by chaos, so that's quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that they have an Inquisitor, and everybody just fucking hates the Inquisitor. He's a right tit, and everyone's like, fucking Inquisitors, Jesus. No, I think it's not a bad introduction to the world of Warhammer 40,000. It's not the best. It doesn't really hammer you with too much lore, so you'd be left with a lot of questions. But it's competent, I would say.
There's a lot of markers that it hits, and some of them you wouldn't expect. Like it gets into a little bit of the Eldar, the Beltan craft world. It gets into where the orcs come from. It's got a really good explanation of chaos, as if memory serves, and then it goes, and this is what chaos actually has. Yeah. All cornate, if memory serves me right, and as a way,
yeah, primarily, yeah. They don't really focus, yeah, because they have the Bloodthirster and the Demon Prince, and then they have like horrors, which are not the pink horrors or anything else. They're just unrecognizable horrors.
Yeah,
and I think that's all of the demon forces they get.
As far as I remember, yes.
Yeah, apart from demon engines. Yeah, they don't really get. I think they try to keep it non-specific as possible for the most part, because the more that you stray into the demon realms, the more that you have to kind of make entire different factions for the most part. And they were just like, we'll just make basic Black Legion, that'll do.
Yeah. I think there was Black Legion and there was some Alpha Legion in there as well, wasn't there?
Well, in each game, it's basically a new Legion, but they're always like more of the. It's just, don't worry about, like, it's not a specific one.
Yeah.
It's Dawn of War, the first one. It's Black Legion. I can't remember what Winter Assault is. That might be Word Bearers. 3 is definitely Word Bearers because it's got Eliphas the something. He's in that one, and then in Soulstorm, you're right. It's the Alpha Legion, but again, it doesn't really matter. It's just a color scheme change for them, which is fine.
Yeah, it's a skin more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I mean, Dawn of War. I remember there's a lot of stuff about Dawn of War I remember fondly. It's because it was in a lot of ways, my brain goes Final Liberation, Dawn of War. Which, even though there's like 10 years between them, there's no
Is there
other.
really 10 years? Oh my
I
god!
be about that. Let me
Oh my
double check.
god!
Actually, now I come to say that, I think it might be less because I think Final Liberation was actually 1996, not 1994.
I was gonna say it can't be that because I played Final
No, it
Liberation.
was 97. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah,
No, not as big of it. It's still like fairly large. So much changed in those few years. To be fair, for gaming,
yeah.
I mean, you could tell just by looking at Final Liberation and looking at Dawn of War. Massive difference. Huge.
Did you ever play the first Chaos Gate?
No, I never got to play the first one. No,
hmm It's a weird one because I don't know many people who did.
I wanted
It's
to. I saw like adverts for it and thought it looked cool, but I never was able to get it.
I'll put it this way: there's only one person I know that's actually played and completed Chaos Gate, and that's my
Oh,
brother.
I was gonna say, is it Andrew? I don't know
It
why I
is.
thought it would be your brother, but
That boy plays a lot of games, and always has done.
mm.
Uh, but yeah, he's the only person I know that's played and completed Chaos Gate. So
Yeah.
anybody else out there has played and completed Chaos Gate? Winner, you're a small breed. Um, yeah, so it kind of it's this weird thing where it feels like Dawn of War was definitely the next generation of gaming, so to speak. That it had left the simplicity behind of Chaos Gate and Final Liberation and had become something more, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, it's that new style of game that was coming out around the after the millennium. As things as PC prices dropped and PCs became much more powerful very
In
very
terms,
quickly.
I mean, if we're talking gameplay wise, Dawn of War was kind of more in the Command and Conquer, StarCraft 2, Warcraft 2 era of Warcraft 3 actually, because they have
hmm
hero characters as well. Warcraft 3 kind of style of this is how we make RTSs at this point, but they had obviously the resource collection kind of points which you had to capture, which I think
Yeah.
was a good idea because it didn't lock you into like you can only get your Vespian gas here, you can only get your crystals here. Kind of force you to start moving up and making bases around those locations if you wanted to secure them,
Oh
which is
yeah.
a good idea.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Warcraft there because honestly, if you put this, the original Dawn of War, which came out 2 years after Warcraft 3,
Mm.
against Warcraft 3, Jesus Christ, Dawn of War looks old. It's
Oh yeah,
really weird.
yeah. Well, it just shows how good Blizzard was at the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, Warcraft 3 is, to this day, I think, the perfect RTS game. It's.
I will say the models. I think the models for Dawn of War are better than the models for
Mhm.
Warcraft 3, though. Warcraft 3, they're still very blocky and chunky. They're not quite as blocky and chunky. It's a lot more detail on these guys.
Yeah,
I think that
yeah,
you could get more guys on screen as well than you could for Warcraft. But then Warcraft had the cinematics, and
yeah.
you couldn't beat the cinematics from Blizzard back then.
No, you really couldn't. It's taken until the last 5 years for the rest of the games world to catch up to that level of, which is really funny because Blizzard can't do a cinematic for shit now.
I was going to say
They,
it could be just because they've given up, as
yeah,
me and you've talked about before. They just don't care anymore. Blizzard,
no,
they're just
no,
Activision now. So
yeah, for the last
fuck
10
them.
years, Blizzard has burnt every bit of goodwill.
Yeah,
If there's ever a point where you think that Games Workshop is one of the worst companies you'll deal with, I just give you Blizzard. Because for everything that Games Workshop's ever done that's a bit shit, Blizzard is worse.
yeah.
Fucking hell, I've never seen anything as bad as that, as how far Blizzard fell. It's just, no, I'm not going to get into that, because I will just start bitching about
It's just
how.
a sad. It's just depressing.
It is. The company that canned 3 games because they weren't good enough to be released.
Yeah, yeah. I really
Beca-
wanted StarCraft Ghost. I thought it looked
yeah,
cool.
yeah, Lord of the Clans, the point and click game.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I think somebody actually found it and released it, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, it's not complete,
Huh. Oh well,
but
yeah, it makes sense.
yeah, what's actually been done, what's actually been made, you can play through. I'll have to see if I can find it.
Ah,
It's,
damn.
it uh, it looks old. It's
Oh
not
well,
polished,
it
you
would
know.
be.
Really not polished, but it's fun.
I tell you what, one disappointing aspect to Dawn of War 1 is, which is, I think, yeah, it's the only problem that Dawn of War 1 has compared to the expansions. The campaign, if you want to play just the game on its own and you don't want to have to do any of the multiplayer or the skirmish, the story mode is just the Blood Ravens. There's nobody else has a story mode, and it made it kind of limited. If you want to play as the other factions, you'd have to play in multiplayer or skirmish, which I didn't think it was fun. Thankfully, the expansions kind of gave you options to not have to do that, because I only played these for the story mode, to be honest.
Yeah, I never did any of the multiplayer parts of it.
Yeah, skirmish games just never really did it for me. I never found them desperately fun.
No, I seem to remember my internet connection at that point was so poor that you just couldn't get onto a decent game. I think that's probably why I hate multiplayer games now. It's weird memories of like just sitting there watching as the connection drops constantly.
Well, that's now because of your computer just dying.
Yeah, that's true. That's because this computer is ancient and it just needs to be taken on back and shot. In the same way that I refuse to have an Apple product because I haven't forgiven them for QuickTime, that's why I don't like multiplayer games, because in 2004, my internet connection in 2004, you could only stay on for 55 minutes.
Oh my God.
It would disconnect you after 55 minutes and you had to reconnect.
My problem with Apple products is you're just buying a label.
Yes.
That's my issue. If the product was good and it wasn't as expensive as it is, just because it has Apple on it, I'd care more. But I remember when somebody who was much older than me was telling me that no, Apple is just better because no one could ever hack it. And I was like, no, if someone wanted to hack an Apple product, they could. You're just buying it for the label. And they were like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you are I thought to myself, you're a 56-year-old woman. You do not know about technology. Get the fuck out of here. Didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. But
Apple is as easily hacked as anything else. It's all down to the protection you've got.
Exactly. You couldn't tell her that though. So whatever.
That's in my case. I don't like Apple,
No.
but on the other hand, I also remember QuickTime, and I refuse to forgive.
I don't remember having any problem with QuickTime. I don't remember having all of the play, because there were so many back in the day media players. There's so many, especially ones that were like you said, QuickTime. It's like we have a special Apple video file. It's like no. Stop.
If I can't play this on WinMX, I'm not going to play it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, not WinMX, Winamp. Sorry. If I can't play it on Winamp, which really kicks the llama's ass, I'm not going to play it.
Kick that llama's ass. All right, yeah.
One of the saddest things about how the technology in the future has all come together is that it's all become very mundane, and I miss that weird retro futuristic look of things like Winamp, Windows Media Player.
Oh, is that where you could have the weird borders on them?
Yeah.
It's like there's the alien theme and stuff like that.
Yeah. That weird retro future feel, a future that was never going to arrive and yet looked really old at the same time.
I don't mind that entirely, because I preferred like the more simplistic, it just works kind of feel.
Yeah.
It's like YouTube. It's like when you look back at original YouTube, there's just a lot of unnecessary goo on the screen. But then they got to a point, and then they just kept fiddling with it to the point where it's like you don't need to keep. You had it fine then. Stop touching it. Stop it.
Weirdly enough, earlier on this week, I fell down the rabbit hole of remembering that You're the Man Now Dog existed. Do you remember? I take it you don't remember You're the Man Now Dog?
No.
So, pre-YouTube, before like the ability to have videos playing, like streaming videos existed, you could really only have a GIF or a couple of pictures and some music. And so You're the Man Now Dog is a site that's just full of pictures. Maybe they might have 6 of... I think the majority is about 10 frames you can get, and music or a sound clip playing underneath it. And it is some of the funniest nonsense. Honestly, I must have spent 3 hours just going through it and finding new stuff in the Juggernaut rap.
Oh, wow.
Which is Juggernaut from X-Men Children of the Atom doing a little dance. So just a couple of frames of animation doing a little dance. and somebody had put the Juggernaut voice to a beat, and he just goes, "Juggernaut will crush you, head stomp, Juggernaut will crush you, I'm unstoppable, Juggernaut will crush you, head stomp, head stomp." And I started to watch that for about 20 minutes. It just made me super happy.
Yeah.
You're the man now, dog. It still exists. Although it does not like being on phones. Jesus Christ. Oh, sorry, we got way off topic there.
No, we haven't done that so far today. You're lying.
So, out of the first game with all the expansions, right?
Yeah.
What are the pinnacles for you? What are the high points of those games for you? What
In
sticks out?
terms of, I mean, if are we talking about what the best of the expansions are?
No, I'm more meaning the stuff that you remember really fondly, like moments in the games or mechanics of the games, just that type of thing. What sticks in your mind from that first run of Dawn of War games?
Well, when we got to Dark Crusade, the introduction of the Necrons, I was a big fan of because it was the first. I don't know if it was the first push I saw since the original Metal Mini. Back on whatever White Dwarf that was, I was out of Warhammer at that point, so this was the first time that the Necrons came back, and I went, "They look a little different from what I remember." I don't remember. I thought they had weird speed bikes, not these guys sticking out of hoverboards. That's weird.
Yeah,
But okay,
a
that
little
a
bit
slight
slimmed
change.
down.
We got a giant floating pyramid as well. Okay, that's different.
I've
I'll
got
rock
a
and roll.
great story about that pyramid.
Oh,
So, the reason I played a lot of Dawn of War back in the day was my housemate, Stephen, at the time.
which one did you play the most?
I played the first one the most. Oh,
It was
out
the
of all
most.
the expansions,
Yeah.
it would have been Dark Crusade.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's the best one.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So we'd often I'd come back from uni and he'd be playing, or he'd come back from uni, I'd be playing it because we only had the one computer in the living room. And what he would often do is listen to film listen to film soundtracks whilst playing games, right? And the first time he ever got one of the Necron pyramids floating along, it was perfect. The Terminator 2 theme came on, and so you just had this thing slowly moving down the battlefield with dun 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 dun, and the both of us were just killing ourselves. It was like the timing could not have been better. It was incredible.
Nice. I love the fact that in Dark Crusade, it did finally give you the option to play every faction in
Yes.
their own kind of, not really a story mode. There wasn't a story mode, but their own campaign. I like that. I like the risk idea of like you went and you claimed a territory, and the territory gave you some sort of bonus. You could either get a war gear for your main hero, which would make your main leader stronger, or they'd get retinue, so you could have like a small bodyguard force to go into a new map with. And every time that you made a base, that base was saved. So if you were invaded and you'd built this massive base with like 50 generators, 9 bases, and you would just be all across the map, most of it would have been saved. The only time it wouldn't be saved is if you tried to build bases in the enemy where the enemy would spawn, it would wipe that stuff out. But anywhere else in your starting area, you could fully max that out and claim most of the key points. So if you were ever invaded again, you would absolutely just smash them. You would absolutely dominate them. I really like that aspect of the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a really smart idea. With the Chaos faction as well, by the end, if you got all the upgrades, you could just have a Demon Prince.
Yes.
Your hero was just a Demon Prince all the time. It's like, damn. All right.
I remember enjoying that. Because I mean, that Demon Prince was massively overpowered.
Oh, yeah.
It was insanely good.
There's a reason you got him like the last upgrade, and it took ages to get those upgrades.
Mm-hmm. I seem to remember there was a cheat to get to it, but I can't think what it was. It wasn't like the cheat to the time, which was like some kind of weird pop culture reference where you had to like press shift and write Kaiser Soze. Anyone who knows what that cheat was from and what it did wins 50 points.
Oh my god! I remember hearing it. I couldn't tell you where it's from, but I have heard it. I know it.
It's the same game that has Leave It to Me.
Oh god!
Leaving that
Moo
one.
money, moo money, moo money. That was Diablo, wasn't it?
It was, yep, Moonlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think, if memory serves me right, we probably had the Platinum Collection or the Anthology Collection, whatever it was called.
Hmm.
And it's when you think about go back and think about that, it's like, yeah, so this game had like 3 expansions, and then they've just brought it out all as one. It's like when's the last time that happened with a game? Where you
Oh man, you can get that on Steam. Steam
true,
can do
yeah,
it but they don't really do that for physical releases. It's usually you do get Game of the Year editions sometimes as well, but not to the size and scale of like what because Dawn of War, like each of those Dawn of War games they're big. They're
yes,
also a full game.
yeah, yeah,
It's not like it's an expansion, but it is a full game as well. It's not like when you spend for like Total War Warhammer and you get a new faction and that's about it. This is a new faction and a new game mode around it as well.
but
There's a lot in them.
it's crazy if you. I mean, I don't want to do a one-to-one comparison because I think that's a losing argument before you even get started. But if you compare how Dawn of War rolled out compared to how like the first Total War rolled out,
Mm,
you know that you get altogether 9 factions with all of the expansions, with all the
yep.
maps and tweaks and everything like that, and then it all gets released, and that would have been 25 quid for the Game of the Year edition. Because the Game of the Year editions at that point were always cheaper, weren't
Oh,
they?
yeah, because it was basically a sales bundle if you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want to get all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it was usually a year after at least a year after the game had been released.
Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes longer when it came to like Deus Ex, because I think, if memory serves me right, the Deus Ex one came out 2 years after the
Oh
original Deus
god.
Ex came out.
Took that long.
Yeah, it was weird. Well,
Jeez.
but I think it was because it was the first time that Deus Ex had started to dip off in sales. So it's like,
Ah.
let's just do this and see if people start buying it again, and they did. Yeah. But yeah, you compare that to the first Total War, and how much you get compared to how much you pay. It's insane what you
Yeah.
got in content here.
Yeah.
It makes me really sad, actually, that this is a time that is long, long gone. 20 years ago next year.
Woo, sheesh.
20 years ago is, my God, next September is going to be the 20th anniversary of the original Dawn of War.
Oh god.
Fuck me sideways.
Oh, I can tell you one update to Dark Crusade which I didn't like.
Hmm.
It was they put limits on what troops you could have.
Yes.
Do you remember in like Dawn of War 1 and Dawn of and Winter Assault, if you wanted to and you had the size cap because you had a size cap of 20, you could just fill that out with all Terminators.
Yeah, yeah.
Or in Winter Assault, which I did, I just went, what if we just went with Cassicans? And it's a group of like, I think you could, when you clicked your maximum unit type, I think it was like, was it 20 Cassicans or something per group?
Something like that.
You could have a lot of Cassicans, a stupid amount of Cassicans. And that was a hell of a amount of fight. They didn't do a huge amount, but when you had that many, it was fun. But poof. And then you just have for the cavalry, not the cavalry, for the vehicles. I'd usually just go and fill them out with basilisks, and I'd have one assassin. So the assassin who would be cloaked would go and find the enemy, and then I just have. I think you could because in Dark Crusade you could only have 3. I think in Winter Assault you could probably have like 8, something like that, and they did a lot more damage and were more accurate as well back then. They were nuts. Nuts.
I just had a thought.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when, because the Cassicans' first appearance was in the fifth ed. I want to say fifth ed, Codex Imperial Guard. I'm just trying to make sure see if I'm right on that one, which would have been around about 2008. So I'm wondering, did the Cassicans make their first appearance in Dawn of War?
It can't be the first. Maybe it was just tied around the same time.
Yeah,
It can't have been the first time. That'd be crazy.
it would be, wouldn't it? But I can't think of the Cassicans being around before that.
I would say they just couldn't have happened just on the basis that there's no way that they would have made a unit before it was out.
Yeah,
Because the
yeah.
GW would have had to have told them about Cassicans beforehand.
Unless it was something that they made for the game and then.
Oh, I don't think it would, because then
Yeah.
there would be legal nonsense woo-woo, I'm sure, if that was the case, right?
Yeah, quite possibly, quite possibly.
Yeah.
Oh no, they appeared a year before the game.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because isn't that why we don't get the Blood Ravens anymore? Because they technically, Relic might have rules for them or something like that, or
Yeah,
own
yeah,
something, which is a shame because I prefer the Blood Ravens way more than even the Blood Angels visually, color
yeah.
scheme wise.
That gold and black's much nicer.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just sings at you, doesn't it?
the weird beige shoulder pad, which kind of
Hmm.
works shockingly well against the red and the black.
It does. It does. I like the Blood Angels a lot.
The
That's
Blood
the Blood
Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the story as well. That they like it was only years later that you find out. Oh, they might actually just be the remnants of the Thousand Sons. I'm like, oh, I like them even more now.
Yep.
What a cool idea!
It really is, isn't it? And it's one of those weird things. It's you always you're always told that Space Marines are really rare, and then you start looking at like, oh my God, how many Space Marines are there actually out there in the universe? When you start putting all these chapters together, so to have them tied into an existing chapter, it helps
Yes.
solidify it a little bit. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean the great idea of like you can make your own chapter, but then you do have like that. Oh, but how many like even like canon factions are there? There's quite a few canon chapters
Yeah, yeah.
in quotation marks.
I'm going to
Yeah,
find out how many chapters
there's a
of
lot.
Space Marines are there.
Like I remember the poster. Do you remember the poster that had the chapters on?
I do, yes.
And that was I
Holy.
don't think that's up to date either. There's lots. But I guess
Uh,
like isn't like a legion 10,000 and a chapter is 1,000?
yeah, yeah. So
So
the
you could get like 10 from like from one legion, and there was like how many loyals? 12?
there's actually 1,000 named chapters.
That's quite a lot.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's that's 100,000 Space Marines then technically, give
Yeah,
or take.
yeah. It's
Oof.
it's when you get into these ones, like there's a chapter called the Dictators, the Disciples of Caliban.
Hang on, is the dictators like Stalin, Mussolini?
The Españoles, the Excretors. What the fuck?
All right.
Dear me. Right, yeah, so there's nearly 1,000 named Space Marine chapters. So that is insane.
That's a lot, like more than I
Yeah.
thought.
But obviously, some of those have been retconned or reformed or.
They might have been destroyed at this point as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Like officially destroyed as well, not just like, oh yeah, they're quote unquote destroyed. Like, no, they're actually gone.
Yeah, I mean the Lamenters, for example, they're hanging on by a thread.
No, there were ones that were actually fully destroyed in some of the Tyranid attacks, weren't there?
There were, yeah.
Yeah.
The Minotaurs, I think they were destroyed.
That's a shame. They had a really cool color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about the lore, but I'm like, they look cool. I like how they look.
The Doom Eagles, did they get? I don't know. It's you start getting a bit silly. So yeah, it's kind of a weird one, isn't it? Where you've got all these different all these different chapters out there, and then having one that gets made especially for a game that then has massive ties to or possible ties to an existing chapter, I think was a really good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
And that chapter not being the Blood Angels, which I think is quite cool. Because I think everybody was under the impression that they were a Blood Angels splinter group. So, Dawn of War 2 comes along, and no, apparently not.
No, shockingly.
Speaking,
if you could for like future games, instead of doing like the main legions, would you do like maybe not the Lamenters, but like what the white and the purple ones called? The Empress, not the Empress children. What they're called? You know the ones I mean. White primarily. They have purple shoulder pads and they have purple knees. Maybe a purple helmet.
I'm not sure. Like, I can think
Do you
of
know the ones I mean?
I can think of a few of them.
Yeah. Well, either way, would you prefer like one of those chapters to one of the lesser known chapters to have something done with them?
The Emperor's
Is that
Word, is that the ones you're
maybe?
thinking of? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
mean, absolutely. Yeah, I think one of the reasons that Space Marine, although it's a really good game, I always kind of go, it's because you're playing an Ultramarine.
And you know he's very much an ultramarine.
Oh
Actually,
yeah.
no, he's not because he's willing to bend the Codex Astartes.
Hmm.
It's the other guy who's like, you aren't following the Codex Astartes, so I'm going to get the Black Legion on you. Like, what Leandros? What a cockweasel Leandros is! What an absolute cock!
But then I'm surprised there hasn't been like an Assassin's game that used like an Assassin's Creed style engine to, you know, just having like an Eversaw that climbing through buildings and stuff in order to get that single shot.
Yeah, DLC players Ratman.
Yeah,
Doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't have to work with the story, but new abilities, tail stabby thing. That'd be cool. Did you see that they've got a DLC pack for Chaos Gate, the new Chaos Gate coming out?
No, I haven't.
Do you know who the new pack is?
I don't.
All four assassins.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's quite fun. It's basically, hey, do you know the models? It's just them in game.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. But I haven't
It's
played
nice
the
of
new
that.
Chaos Gate.
Chaos Gate's pretty good. It can get a little bit overwhelming quickly because you're on a bit of a timer with dealing with the plagues. A kind of XCOM-y, but it kind of starts tumbling out of control quite quickly unless you're really on the ball. I'd recommend it. It's fun. And
Would
you
you
are
say-
playing as the what they're called, Silver Guys, Inquisition, Space
Grey
Marines,
Knights.
Grey Knights. Thank you. You're playing as the Grey Knights, which is again different from Ultramarines, thankfully.
Absolutely. Which did you prefer, that or Mechanicus?
Ooh.
Oh dear. I wasn't expecting to be a...
I don't know, because Mechanicus is an XCOM.
Yeah.
It's kind of What did I prefer? I think technically the better game is Chaos Gate, but I
Okay.
think Mechanicus is very good as well. Mechanicus has better music. The music in Mechanicus is really
yeah.
good.
I actually have the albums.
Oh, do you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Mechanicus music is so thematic with the Mechanicus. They just hit the nail on the head when they got the Mechanicus music going.
Yeah.
It is much
really
cheaper
enjoyed
as a game as well, so it's got that benefit. Well, it's not as high production as Chaos Gate, but Chaos Gate is probably a better game. You know, it's more focused. There's a story, an actual story going on.
Yeah.
There's more enemies going around. You can do more with the characters. That's probably the better game, to be fair. But Mechanicus is so much fun.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I've only ever played a little bit of Mechanicus, but I really enjoyed my time with it.
It can get a little bit easy. Mechanica, once you start like getting high-leveled weapons that do area of effect damage, like flamethrowers and stuff like that, you can start like getting on a roll really quickly.
Yeah. And for somebody who has the amount of time I do to play games, that's fine by me. Saying that though, I'm still playing through Sonic Frontiers. I've already completed it once. So
oh well, yeah.
Joseph just likes me to play through the boss fight levels.
Oh,
That's all I'm allowed to play now.
Oh,
should we move on to Dawn of War 2 then?
Sure. What a different switch in style of game.
Yeah, that's the elephant in the room, like, isn't it? So
Some people like a lot more.
Yeah,
I don't. It's not my style of game, but I appreciate that it is good in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and has Tyranids, which is always
That's
good.
fun. Well, there's the Chaos version as well, Chaos Rising, so you did get to fight Chaos as well.
Very true.
And there's Retribution, which is not as good.
Also true. Yep. Yeah, the fact that it has that Company of Heroes engine underneath the hood kind of it just felt really weird to me that you go in expecting, even though all the reviews told you that this wasn't the case, you go in expecting one game and you get something very different.
It's like going into Duke Nukem 1 and going, oh, this is Duke Nukem, and then going into Duke Nukem 2 and getting like Stardew Valley, a farm simulator, just
Yeah.
starring Duke Nukem. It's like, this is different.
hmm
Okay.
Well, actually, yeah, you hit the money around the head there. It's like playing Duke Nukem 2 and then getting Duke Nukem 3D. Because those are two very different games. And then getting Duke Nukem 4, kind of, in Duke Nukem Valley of the Babes, which
Oh
is,
yeah, I like that one.
I hated it.
Oh, I liked how weird the three. I tell you what I liked about that. I like going to the different dimensions and Duke Nukem getting different outfits. Like
Yeah,
in the cowboy stage, he got a little hat.
he did, which is very
It was
nice for him.
clunky as hell, though,
Oh, God,
as
yeah.
most of those games are. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Freaking third-person shooters, man.
PlayStation 1
Yeah,
third-person shooters.
everyone has tank controls.
Yep,
Oh,
and you have to have auto aim, or otherwise you're screwed.
oh, absolutely. You are ruined.
Yeah. I will say about like this game, the story is way better,
Yeah,
way
big
more
time.
interesting. The characters are way more interesting. The actual story itself, which is just, hey, the Turners are coming, Lamau, oh dear, sort it out.
Mhm.
That's kind of standard. But the actual characters involved are more interesting, apart from the main character. Unfortunately, he was the silent protagonist, which was a bad call in my eyes.
It
Especially
was.
you compare the commander, I think he's called, to Angelos in the first game. The
Mhm.
Angelos is way more interesting, and I don't know why they didn't have this guy voiced because it didn't add anything by not having him talk.
Oh, sorry. The only thing that you ever hear him say is that for the Emperor, and that's
Yes, it's a charge forward, right?
yeah, the rally
Yeah,
ability, and that's it. And you just okay, well, and it's
it
a
was the
shame.
style of the time,
I know,
unfortunately.
I know, but to lose that level of characterization, well, not character, to lose that level of personality that you had in that first game, is I think that's the biggest issue that they've got
But
in
it's
the
weird
second
because,
one.
like I said, they kind of spread it out across the other main characters
Yes,
because they were very good,
yeah.
very
Apart from
cool.
the Tyranid Hive Tyrant doesn't have a huge amount of
Well,
personality.
no. But Davian Thule does make his return, who
He
was a
does.
character in Dark Crusade, which I thought was quite fun.
hmm
Then they're like,
I,
oh, he comes back, and then we'll put him in a Dreadnought. I was like, oh, that's fun.
I like the fact that the story does continue. Kind of,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
kinda. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of throwbacks and a lot of like interesting little nods and ticks to the first game in there, without
hmm
it being a last time. Do you remember this happened? And it's happening again. You know,
Yay.
it's the thing I keep asking Abby. She's playing through Tears of the Kingdom at the moment, and I keep saying to her, "What are they going to do for a third one?" Because at this point in time, Link's lost his memory twice. He can't really do it again.
Did he? Hang on. Did he lose his memory in the second game?
Well, kind of, but
Oh my
not as much.
god.
Not really, but kind of. It's
Oh.
yeah. The first game ends. They go underneath the castle and they find the remnants of the Demon King, who then just goes bleh, and then
Oh no, Blair.
oh no, he's blared at us. So it's like, how do you make a third game of this? I don't think anything you do, it's just going to be like, oh, all right then. Which is a
Hmm.
shame because Tears of the Kingdom is fucking incredible.
Yeah, it looks neat.
But there's no silent commander here that goes ha hoo sha. So we'll carry on with Dawn of War 2.
We also
Um,
replace one Canadian with Scott McNeil with Steve Blum
yep,
doing Steve Blum voice.
yep, and he's Steve Blumming the hell out of it.
Yeah, I like him as Cyrus, the guy who you're like, are you actually a traitor? And then by the end you're like, oh no, it's Thaddeus, isn't it? The heavy gunner. Who
Yes,
you're like, you might be the evil person here actually.
there should have been a mini game in here where you had to pick which one was the traitor.
I would have liked that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I had like werewolf time or something where you had like 2 minutes to work out who the traitor was.
What did you think of the game mechanic where your decisions impacted how corrupt you became? Oh no, that was in this one, wasn't it? Or was that in Chaos Rising? No, that was in Chaos
That was
Rising,
Chaos
wasn't it?
Rising. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I quite liked it as a mechanic. It's
yeah.
it. I can't help but think of Arthas in Warcraft 3. It's like,
No,
oh, I can't burn my boats down and make everyone freeze to death. Oh well, not getting fully corrupted then.
not today.
And then, of course, you got The Last Stand, came out in 2009,
Yep,
which was that was good fun. I mean,
it was. It was hard. I thought it was hard.
very,
Yeah.
very, very hard.
You
But the
needed
fact,
a coordinated team to help you, and most of the time playing online, I could not find a coordinated team.
no, you're just shouting down the bloody microphone for fuck's sakes.
But it was fun playing as the different hero classes. Like you could play as a Hive
Yeah,
Tyrant. That was really cool.
I only ever played as the Hive Tyrant.
I don't blame you. Like you
Uh,
could just spawn in Tyranids. It's like
hmm
that's very fun.
Yeah, uh, there's nothing like giving birth to Tyranids in the middle of a battle. You know,
Just pooping them out.
yeah. Pooping them out like they were coal.
Yeah.
The orcs get a real good run in this one as well. They've got tons of personality, and it's.
Mm.
I'm trying to remember. You got Skykiller and Gut Wrencher.
Are these boss characters that you
Yeah,
kill?
yeah.
Mm.
I can't. There was a mech as well, but I can't remember his name. Um, Bad Zapper or
That
something.
sounds familiar. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
it was the Dreadnought or anything, but I remember that name.
hmm He was the one that could see that the Eldar were pretending to be orcs. Which that is such a wonderfully silly story point. There's warlocks like, and disguised as orcs, and I
Yep.
just like to think of like Eldar putting on like orc puppet hats and they're just running around. We go to war.
Painting the skin green.
Yeah, they won't notice.
They will
Um,
not see us. I mean, they will not see us. Nailed
they,
it.
no, it's Brian Blessed doing it. They will not see us. I'm an Eldar. And of course, you get a warp spider as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
warp spider.
they actually look cool and new.
I
You know.
loved the warp spider. It just seeing an actual warp spider wandering around was just oh that's nice.
Yeah, they were in
That
the intro FMV sequence as well, and they were super cool in that, dashing
yeah.
about and teleporting everywhere.
And then you go to play 40k. You go into Games Workshop as a young lad with your heart full of hope, and you say, "I'd like to play warp spiders, please." And the 2004 staff just look at you and go, "Ma!"
Does he like throw his hood back like Pete from Mickey's Christmas Carol?
Yeah, it's Brian
Pulls
Ansell.
out, pulls out a cigar, starts smoking heavily. If you like fall into a pit. Resin!
You'll come back out in 10 years, and we'll still have the same warp spiders. Actually, now I come to think about it, I wonder if 2004 still had the catalogues in the back of White Dwarf.
Oh,
I will have to have
they
a look at
might
my...
have.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look in the back of my 2004 White Dwarfs now. I'll do that before I go to bed tonight. Because I want to know if they were in there and if you could buy warp spiders. What There was something else I was going to bring up, which was quite cool.
The RPG mechanics?
The RPG mechanics were very cool.
Yeah, they were neat.
I'm always a sucker for an RPG. Anything that has an RPG mechanic, I am at least going to try because I like little numbers going up.
Yeah, it's weird because they gave you options to make some of your waste points, and that's one issue I had with it. You could waste points and
Yeah.
not know that you've wasted them, and you couldn't really do anything about it. Like if you got Thaddeus, the assault marine, and you put points into his ranged attack, you were screwed. It was a stupid. Never do that. He's an assault marine. He doesn't need guns.
Yeah.
If you don't go for the melee, then you're unfortunately making a terrible choice.
Well, it's one of those things where it doesn't give you the rules to understand what you need to do to make that
No.
character the best they can be.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. You start putting points into shooting, it is a waste of time because he needs it to be in his chainsaw as he flies forward and smacks the shit out of people. But then why would you have the option to give them
Well, that's
one
the
that?
thing.
Yeah, it's a really weird.
They should have expanded a little bit more on that. So if you wanted to, Thaddeus could have become maybe an assault marine, and maybe you could have just changed up the classes. Maybe they had different skills, so maybe they could specialize a little bit differently. I don't know. At the very least, there should have been more respec options. So if you were like, I don't like this, you could do something. Maybe each character gets 2 respecs per game.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that. And I liked as well building up to being able to use Terminator armor as well. So by the end of the game, the entire crew was in Terminator armor. That was really fun. Big boy, thick boy Terminators.
Yes.
Yeah, and they just ran through cover, which was really fun. Most of the time, you'd have to run around the cover in Terminator armor. No, they just went, hey, they're like tanks, just run through it. Whatever.
I think one of the interesting things I remember about Dawn of War 2 was, I can't remember the name of the podcast, but I mean, we're going, 2009, podcasting is just in its infancy.
Oh, God. Yeah, of course.
And there was some gaming magazine had a podcast. I can't remember if it was like Official Xbox or PC Gamer or something like that, but it was one of those kind of things, right? And they were talking about Dawn of War, and then somebody just accidentally drops that Chaos Rising was on its way out. And there's just silence, and of course, that hits, and everyone just goes, "Fucking what?"
Yeah, man.
And so, that had to be announced very, very quickly.
Wonder if he got in trouble.
I would say he probably got fired for that, unfortunately. But yeah, and then, of course, Retribution came out a year later and gave you the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, it was a disappointing game. I think mainly because the campaign was messy. It was a generic story that any of the good thing about it was you could play as any faction. That's good. Because you could play as any faction and it made no difference to the story, it was bad because it felt like it had no impact. It didn't matter who you played. So it felt like an unspecialized story in a lot of ways. You could play as a freebooter pirate orcs, which was fun. I like that.
My favorite type of orc.
Yeah, he had his little pirate hat on. I mean, the rest of the army wasn't themed to being like orc pirates, but the main leader was at least. So that was fun. Yeah, it was definitely just like that kind of feeling. It's like, yeah, I'll play it. There are like improvements to how the game works, but in terms of like the single player option, I didn't think it was a great improvement. And I'm not sure how I felt about the end of the Gabriel Angelo story. I don't think I liked it, to be honest. At least at this point was the first time we'd seen Gabriel Angelo since the first game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say he was in something else, but I couldn't tell you what.
I don't think he. Oh, you mean outside the video games? Yeah, maybe. We didn't say much about Chaos Rising. I thought that was a solid upgrade. I really liked that upgrade to the game. The story was, I think, the best of the Dawn of War games. It was most interesting, and I liked fighting the big. Oh God, Nurgle dude, big boy.
Oh, Jesus.
Why can't I remember? You know who I mean. He's fat.
I can see his face.
Yeah, he's got big horns on his head. Great Unclean One. There we go. I got it.
I was trying to remember his name.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Because he did have a name.
Oh, yeah.
But I was trying desperately to remember his name, and it's like, nope.
I just couldn't remember Great Unclean One. That's what I can remember.
Oh, dear.
I'm old. Leave me alone. I like the fight at the end with the Great Unclean One. I like the fact they brought Eliphas back. Eliphas being in Dawn of War 1 Dark Crusade. I thought that was neat as well, to kind of make a reference back to him. Like, he ran away from the Word Bearers because he was going to get tortured and sent to the Basilica of Torment. And he joined the Black Legion instead. I think it was the first time I'd ever heard of Abaddon as well, like properly, because I didn't read. Yeah, so this was like, for me, Abaddon's introduction. So that was kind of fun as well.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like, I knew the model, but because I wasn't a big reader, I didn't know what he was called or any of his
Yeah, yeah.
backstory, anything like that.
I was actually going to mention it earlier on. I have read the Dawn of War novelization.
Oh, well, what's it cover?
It's just the Dawn of War game.
The first one.
There's 3 of them. So I read the omnibus, which had all 3 books together, and it kind of goes through the majority of the story from the full thing of the games, but not really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not good. In all honesty, it's really not good. There's a couple of things in there which you're just like, no, that's not how that works. My favourite one, of course, being the last cannon that was spitting bullets.
No, I mean it's in the name.
It had bullet casing firing out the side.
But what was it?
What?
What? That sounds
Yep.
like an orc gun.
Nope. Imperial Guardsman
Weird.
just shooting his last cannon, with bullet casings firing out the side.
Maybe the idea was like the las clips would actually just like one shot laser in the bullet.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. It's a weird choice, though.
That's a very, very weird moment.
Yeah.
What the shit? CS Goto. Yep. But I was actually going to say it's fun there that that's the first time you came across Abaddon.
Yeah.
Were you not? I know that you did a bit of fantasy battle back in the day. Did you not do any 40k?
No,
No.
I only played the second edition box like once, and that was about it. But mostly I was fantasy.
Yeah, the best game. No,
I
the better game.
liked it. Yeah, I didn't even get to play too much of that, to be honest. But
No.
That's where my interest lay. I've always been more into fantasy for the most part than I have been to sci-fi.
Same.
Which is why the current like push for 40k only annoys me so much.
I mean, same.
Yeah.
It's like you're not going to get any argument from me on that one. Like, God damn it! Like, but it's it was the same with Fantasy Battle, and it's the main reason that I came out of the hobby way back when is because Warhammer Fantasy Battle felt like it was dead on the arrival, and 40k was getting all the love.
Yeah.
And I do like 40k, but it's always going to be fantasy. That's going to be my go-to.
Agreed.
Tyranids. That's the other thing I was going to ask you about World War II. How did you feel about the Tyranids? Because it was cool seeing them run around, cool seeing them be all blobby, rob, blob, blob. But I always felt that the Tyranids didn't feel like as much of a threat as they should be.
And they were wrong color. Where was the big plate-headed zoanthrope?
Yep. I mean,
he was a big floating sperm instead. I was like, what's going on here? Where's his giant hands that look like mittens with claws coming out of them?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the biovore spitting with his tiny, tiny, tiny head? And his even thinner front legs? Where's that guy?
Yep. No.
Why does the Carnifex look stupid? Why doesn't he have 4 giant tentacles and a big huggable face? That was my reaction. I was like, wow, the Tyranids just look like the bugs from Starship Troopers. I don't like that.
No.
I, in terms of how they're handled in the game, I think they're handled pretty well. It feels like from a story point of view, they are. Everyone's like, "Oh shit, the Tyranids are coming," and there's not much we can do. Obviously, by the end of the game, you're gonna win because it's a video game. But for the most part, I think they were handled well. Yeah, no, I don't think I had an issue with how they were handled. I mean, it sounds like you did.
Yeah, they didn't feel as old. So the Tyranids to me are the world enders. You are lucky if you can push them back. You don't defeat the Tyranids, you just push them back. So they have to, they go into hibernation or they need to go somewhere else to build the biomass.
Were they handled too much like the orcs, do you think? Where it's just you can get rid of them, basically.
Yeah. It felt a lot of times like the Tyranids were just too easy to kill. That not as in killing the units, I mean as a whole. But it's part of the problem with them being in the game is that they have to be defeatable.
Was this not an issue with the Tyranids of this time period as well? Because they didn't really do much with them apart from the big pushes with the hive fleets,
Yeah, I mean the
where they
Tyranid
kind of languish and
Codex,
they just kind of float around, not doing anything.
the oh god, the Tyranid Codex by 2009. Shit on me.
So
Uh,
yeah, I
yeah,
guess it's
that was
appropriate for the time then. Not
yeah.
good, obviously, but you know.
I mean, that's a fair point. Very, very stuck in the ways and very hard to do anything with them.
Mm.
The Tyranid Codex at this time was fucking atrocious. It- what's that? You've got a species that is mutable by its very nature. Well, they're going to be the least mutable codex you can get.
They have to be like this. They have to do this. They have to do this. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
They're only good at
okay.
one. They're only good at one thing. Oh, all right. Fuck's sake! Like, why is that?
You don't need to adapt. Yeah, it's fine.
Why is that? Is it because you've kept beating your fucking beloved Ultramarines? You fucking, um, which then leads us into the latest version, which is Dawn of War 3. Now, I haven't played Dawn of War 3, so I'm completely down to you on this one, I'm afraid.
Okay.
The reviews are mixed, is the best way I can put it. There are people out there that say that it is really good. There are people out there that say it's really bad. A lot of the review sites kind of gave it above average, saying that it's a solid game, but it does have a little bit of a couple of problems with it. But one of the things that everybody kind of says was that Relic deserves credit for simply not just remaking either 1 or 2 with prettier graphics, but the hybrid approach just doesn't feel as strong
Yeah.
as either game.
They should have chose one or the other.
Yeah. I can totally understand that. So, what stands out for you about Dawn of War 3? What's your highs and your lows about the game?
Lowe's, do you want to play with all of the units as soon as you get the game? Or do you want to have to sink in hours and hours and hours to be able to unlock the ability to play as all the units?
I'd like to play with all the toys that...
Too bad. Not allowed.
I want to play with the
No.
toys.
No, if you want to use specific units, you need to put in time to unlock them. Like these are specific like hero units. I think the base kit, like your main units, are available, but there's like 3 hero units you can pick from. If you want to pick from all of them, from what I remember, you had to. It was the elites. That's right. Basic outline of elites in Dawn of War 3. So it's these elites. If you wanted to get them, you'd have to put in time and effort into getting them, and some of them were good, some of them were bad. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just like looking on the Space Marines. Also, it's annoying. There's only 3 races in this game, one less than the original Dawn of War 1.
Ooh,
So that's not good in itself.
no.
You know, you get Space Marines, Orcs, and Eldar. Not even Chaos. No Chaos. They're not
That's a
here.
bit weird, isn't it?
I can't. How many were there in Dawn of War 2? There was Orcs, Tyranids, Orcs, Tyranids, Eldar, and Space Marines. There was 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was all of them. Yeah, so you got 4 there. You only get 3 here.
Yeah.
So there's
That's
another downside.
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Eh. Another low point, story mode. The story's crap. Crapper than Dawn of War 1, and like Dawn of War 1 wasn't like a special story. I'd say this is just aggressively bad. You're all race. It's again kind of the way that the story mode's structured out, which is kind of good, is you play for a few chapters as one faction, then a few chapters as another faction. The issue with that is if you don't want to play as the Eldar, tough tits, you've got to play as Eldar for 3 chapters before you can get onto maybe the factions you do want to play as. It doesn't give you the option of like, I just want to play as the Eldar. Okay, well, here's the Eldar side of the story. Okay, I want to play as just the Orcs.
No.
It's like, no, you have to do this. If you want to get onto chapter 2, you have to play the Orcs now. You want to do chapter 3, you have to play as the Eldar. No choice. Can't skip it.
Oh no.
So that's a bad choice. I'd say that's just a bad call because it takes away player options.
Yeah.
You should always give people the option. Don't force people to play a faction that they might not want to play as, because that sucks.
Yeah. No.
Everybody was
on that.
after some sort of Eldar ultimate weapon device, but I can't remember too much about it. And by the end, one of the Eldar. You remember the Eldars that have the big feather wings curved behind the head,
Yes,
like on
yes.
the backpack, whatever that guy was. He turned against the main Eldar Farseer, and then you had to fight him by the end because he was corrupted or something. So the story wasn't anything crazy. I mentioned the mixed kind of like the meshing of the two gameplay structures, which I don't think worked too well. Good thing about it, did get to play as a knight. That was cool. You had the knight equivalent on the Eldar side, and you had the big stomper for the orcs. So that was kind of cool. That was neat. First time they've been in games.
Aye, and I bet they were fun to see clunking along.
Yeah, they had a lot of weight. They had some good animations to them. The actual animations of the models were good.
Yeah.
You know, it looks nice. The game's visually quite nice. The art style, I strongly disagree with that choice because they changed it from how would you describe the art style of Dawn of War 2? Because I think that was a good art style. How would you, comic booky?
Yeah, I would say it's very high contrast, isn't it?
Yeah, it
You
looks like something Warhammer would do for artwork, right?
Yeah, yeah.
With Dawn of War 3, it goes more into cartoony. Like, have you seen what they've done? What Angelos looks like?
I actually haven't. Hang on, let's have a look.
Yeah.
I don't know a huge amount about Dawn of War 3, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
all
remember.
you have, you know what Gabriel Angelos looked like in Dawn of
Yep.
War Run, right? Yeah, okay. Look at him in Dawn of War 3. He doesn't look anything like he's in Terminator armor. They made a resin model of him, and it doesn't look right. Everything's really big and puffy, out of proportion. He looks like, I don't want to say Rob Liefeld draw him, but it's got that kind of weird proportions. Like his legs are
No.
really long, his shoulders are really big. He's got this big fat. His head looks like Chip Hazard's head from Small Soldiers.
It does.
That's the face.
It looks like they were trying to capture the Gears of War look. You know,
I could see that. Big and puffy and chunky. Yeah.
No, I don't like that at all. That's it's very exaggerated, isn't it? But
Yeah.
not in a way that I like.
Do you remember the orc from the first game of Dawn of War? Whatever his name was.
Gorguts?
Gorguts. Yeah, Gorguts. Look at Gorguts in Dawn of War 3 because it's the same character. It's again a character design that I do not like. I don't think they did Gorguts dirty, I think.
Okay, yeah. I can see where you're coming from there. That's
got a weird giant robot monkey hand.
Yeah. I mean, I like that more than Angelos.
Yes, yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah,
I think having that massive arm, it might actually be just too much because
he does run like a monkey as well with it along the ground.
Yeah,
and it's like, I'd rather him look like a war boss of the time period.
Yeah. I think it would be much better if he had two of the big arms, or something else on the other side but because that arm is so massive, it just throws the design completely off, doesn't it?
I think if he went down that route, I'd want him not to be Gorguts, but I'd want him to be like a mech boy.
Yeah. No, completely.
Or a Mad Doc or something like that. Something that would feel a bit more appropriate.
Do you know what he reminds me of?
Hmm?
Revenge of the Fallen Devastator.
Yeah, because he had that kind of hunched monkey look to him as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
that's right.
I am underneath the enemy's scrotum.
Oh, that's right. With the elites, it meant that if you wanted, you could only take 3 elites into battle. So you'd have these choices of elites. Mm-hmm. So let's say your elites were a Terminator squad with hammer and shield, a dreadnought with 2 power fists, and an Imperial Knight. You couldn't have any other variation of the Terminators in there. You'd be locked out of other ones as well. So I mentioned come on, let's get back to the screen where I was talking about the elite choices, because it basically meant you could have Storm Boys, or you could, and that would take away one of your options for having another Orc unit instead. So it felt like a way to limit what you were allowed to do.
Yeah.
Let's see,
Yeah.
Space Marines. Is there just a list? No, there's not a list. Damn. Yeah, it felt like it was taking toys away from you rather than letting you play with a bigger arsenal of things,
It's
which is
certainly.
obviously what the previous Dawn of Wars let you do. You just play, whatever, build your force.
It seems very, very lessened, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Which is a real shame.
yeah, and like I say, you had to play a long time if you wanted to unlock a lot of these elite options that were locked behind stuff. I think I can't remember, but I think you got a currency playing the game, and then you could use that currency playing the game to then buy the quote unquote buy unlock, the
Yeah, yeah.
the elite that you wanted. Didn't
Mm,
like it. Wasn't
no,
happy.
I'm
I
not
didn't finish it. I was like, no, I'm done.
really.
Yeah.
I'm hoping you didn't pay full price for it then.
Oh no, I got away after the fact because I heard that nobody liked this. I got this on a heavy
Yeah.
discount.
I hear that the Necrons turned up in it. Are they just more of
Did they?
That's what I've heard. It's
When?
I don't know when.
Oh my
I was
God.
gonna ask you if it was fun having the Necrons turn back up. No, actually, I've just checked it out now, and the Necrons make a brief cameo in the epilogue. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't
so
get that far.
no, it was more. I'd heard that the Necrons were in it. I was just gonna ask about them, but obviously,
Well, they're in it, I guess. You're
yeah,
not wrong. It's
no,
right.
just because I know how much you like the shiny boys.
I
So
do. Yeah, they're undead, so they're fun.
so all in all, you'd say that Dawn of War 3 isn't worth having a go at.
Not really, no. If
No.
you could get it on like a free trial or something, you can give it a go. Maybe you'll enjoy it, but I think it's a big step down from either Dawn of War 1 or Dawn of War 2. My personal preference is Dawn of War 1 just because I prefer that style of RTS to Company
Yeah,
of Heroes. But if I wanted the story experience, probably go with Chaos Rising for
yeah,
Dawn of
yeah.
War 2.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think it's weird actually. I'm looking at all the character designs and stuff for this. I've fallen down a rabbit hole.
For
And
3.
yeah, and
Uh,
it ties into something we were saying at the very beginning of this, where one of the reasons that I find it really hard to get excited about modern games is the designs.
yeah.
And even though this is very much a caricature design, it's really unpleasant to look at, and
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it was a natural decision, if that makes sense. You can kind of feel all of the orders coming down to the artists on what to do and how to make them. You can almost feel them like pushing against the brief.
Is it unfair to say the art style choice looks more like something you get from mobile games?
Yeah,
Even though
no, absolutely.
this was not done in the mobile game era, but it has that look to it. I don't think it was done in mobile
Well,
game era.
2017, yeah, mobile games were. That would be towards the end of when mobile games looked like they could be something good.
Yeah, when they gave up and went, nah, it's fine.
Yeah,
Just made money.
I remember maybe just a little bit before this, maybe like 2015, there was a couple of really good run and gun games that you could get on
Oh, for the
mobile.
phone. Oh.
Yeah, and that was a point where I was like, oh wow, this could actually be something special. You could have actual proper games, and then Shadowrun came out on the mobile phone, and that was great.
Oh.
That was like top notch. Being able to play an actual proper RPG on your phone. Yes, please. Spot on. And then, not long after that, Dungeon Keeper comes out. And that's the point where it just goes and shits the bed. There are good games out on the phone. Absolutely there are. I've got a couple on mine now. I've got Necromerger, which is really good fun. And I've played that for about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I still play it. It's like, oh, I'm going to pick Necromerger up for a little while and play a little bit of it. And I've got Vampire Savior, which is a roguelite, which is really good fun.
Oh, is that Survivor?
Yeah,
Yeah, Vampire Survivor is really good.
yeah,
The term I heard for Vampire Survivor, which I think is a really good idea, is a bullet heaven.
yep, I can see that. Yep,
Yeah,
yeah, I've played a lot of Vampire Survivor, and
it's really good. Have you got the updates for it?
not yet. No, I need to get them.
For the price on the game, it's great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I keep meaning to do it. I never do. It's one of those things. But also, stick the headphones in and have that music playing. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
did you know that? I don't know it's probably not the mobile phone version, but couch co-op mode is coming to the game as well.
oh, cool.
I don't know how it's going to work, but it's coming. So you could
Yeah.
play with the child and the Abbey at some point. Oh, it's up to 4 player local couch co-op.
Oh, sweet. Right. Well, next time I'm round and see Andrew, my brother, it's like, you boys sit. We're going
I'm
to
not
play some.
sure. Oh, it will be released on the 17th of August. So there you go,
Oh,
17th
cool.
of August.
So they'll be out now. Sweet.
Is it past August? Oh my
Well,
God! Yes, it
they're on the
is. It's already
26th. Yeah.
in. Oh my God! I'm dying,
Yeah. Time it vanishes.
turning to dust.
It's slowly but surely. Yeah. So all in all, this is very much a franchise that has some decent highs and some real lows. And all those lows apparently are Dawn of War 3. Uh, but I think you can get them all on Steam at the moment, can't you?
Yeah. Everything is available Dawn of War wise on Steam if you want to get them that way.
I wonder if Good Old Games has them. I'm going to guess
Oh,
maybe they do.
Good Old Game has at least 1 and 2 up. I don't know
Yeah.
about Dawn of War 3.
I freaking love GOG. I have bought so many games on GOG that I haven't actually played.
I'm a bit too gun shy for GOG because there's too many games I pick up and don't work and won't ever be fixed.
Yeah, I can see that. But mostly it's the thingies, the point and clicks, the old point and clicks that I pick up from them because occasionally it'll just come up with. And today you've got Lure of the Temptress for $1.99. Yeah, go on then. Absolutely, I'll have me some of that. Dawn of War, uh, Dawn of War, 2 Grandmaster Collections on, and original Dawn of War Master Collections on. So yeah, you can get both Dawn of War games on Good Old Games
But not the third
for
one.
not the third one.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh well. How much are they going
What?
for?
$68 and $37.
That's quite expensive.
It really does feel like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. You can get if you go on to like places like CD Keys, which uses Steam code keys, you can get Dawn of War 2 Master Collection for £4 or £5. £5 for the UK, £4 for the £4.29 for the EU version. You can get the Dawn of War Master Collection on for £11. That's for all 4 DLCs. You can get 3, but we're not going to talk about that. So yeah, you can get them relatively cheap. £3, £4 ish kind of time. As long as you wait for a big sale, you'll get them. Whenever there's
I,
a mainstream sale, they'll be there. You'll get them cheap.
I do have to say, and I just saw it out the corner of my eye, on Good Old Games right now, and honestly, fuck the Dawn of War series, you can get Battle Chess.
What's
Now,
Battle Chess?
Battle Chess is a 1990, I think it's 1990 anyhow, chess game with full animations and murder.
Hmm.
So, for example, if you take the knight with your pawn, the pawn will stab the horse, then the knight, and then kick the knight's head off as he falls to the ground when you take him.
Oh, okay.
I am super excited, and I might just buy myself some battle chess to play tonight. I am absolutely overjoyed. I haven't played battle chess since like 1993. It's like, yes. Sorry.
It is time. It is time for Battle Chess.
Absolutely. Ah, man, I love battle chess. I'm so happy. Right, yes, anyhow. So yeah, Dawn of War. Oh my god, Heroes of Might and Magic 4. Heroes of Might and Magic 3. The best Heroes of Might and Magic. Shit, no. Right, I need to close Good Old Games or else I'm going to get dragged into a...
I thought you had all the Might Magics at this point.
I have them in the HD remake, which is good, is fine, but I would quite like to have the originals.
You should get Songs of Conquest. That's an indie game that's basically Might and Magic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, not even heard of it. I shall look it up.
Yeah.
So we'll start drawing this to a close then. And all in all, then, is there an overwhelming thought or a piece of advice or anything like that you'd like to finish things off with when it comes to the Dawn of War series? Other than Angelus in Dawn of War 3 looks like a man with giganticism, and I really don't like it. It looks like the Great Khali, and I don't like it.
Oh yeah, ooh, yeah. Oh,
There's nothing against the Great Khali. I think the Great
I'm
Khali
sure he's wonderful.
was fine. You know.
Yeah, he could break me and you. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
the thing. He's probably doing fine.
I do like the fact that when he was a policeman, he used to travel around on a little pedal bike.
No, he just travelled around on a normal pedal bike. What are you talking about? He just made it look small. Come on. He couldn't get in a cop car, could he?
No, true.
It had to be the pedal bike.
He'd be Flintstoning the shit out of that.
In terms of the game, I reckon if you like RTSs, get the first one. If you like your more story-based kind of Company of Heroes styled move one unit, every unit has like loads of different abilities, so you got to know your hotkeys. Dawn of War 2 is the way to go. And yeah, that's it. Just don't touch 3. It's going to be interesting because it looks like AOS Ruined Storm, whatever it's called, is going like it's. I think it's hard to say. I think they might be going for the Dawn of War 2 gameplay, but I'm not sure.
No. There isn't a huge amount on it out at the moment, is there? There's
the few videos that we have seen don't really show a huge amount of the UI. So without being able to see the UI, you can't tell if they have loads of like different abilities and whatnot or not.
No.
But it looks like Realm of Ruin. That's what it's called.
Realm of Ruin. Yes.
Realm of Ruin is going to be in that sort of area, kinda. That's okay though. Good the Nighthorns, which I wasn't shocked by.
No, I'm hoping that we're going to get Chaos Dwarfs and Skaven.
Lamau, no. What's the most AOS Chaos faction?
Knights of the First Prince, Bellacor's lot, because they're all like corrupted Stormcast souls that have been rammed into new bodies.
No, because they're not direct models. No.
All right, okay.
It needs to be a direct model range.
Well, no, I mean you've got the champions, Bellacor's champions.
Mm-hmm.
Their models are for a singular character.
That's one unit. It'd need to be an entire faction.
Right.
There would probably be Warriors of Chaos, I'm guessing. Or it would be the Blades of Khorne.
Yeah.
Blades of Khorne, maybe.
I was saying that, though, the Maggotkin. Because they've got, like, those great big monsters and stuff now.
I would say no. Maybe. The reason I might say no is because they might not have enough unit choice. You want to have kind of similar amount of unit choices, but maybe they go that way. I don't know. Because every choice I've made in the game so far, it's been the most AOS choice. You know, it's like Stormcast, obviously, Cruel Boys. All right, that's the most AOS looking unique thing. So fair enough. Night Haunt again, it's the most AOS unique thing. So the Chaos Forces will probably be if they don't just go generic Warriors of Chaos, which they might do,
which is very likely.
Yeah.
I mean, what have you got? You've got the Slaves of Darkness.
Yep.
You've got the Blades of Khorne.
Disciples of Tzeentch, Maggotkin, the sex workers that George likes. What they called? Head Knights. That's it. Yeah, I think the sex workers of Slaanesh works well as well. But you're not going to get them in a game, at least not straight away. Just because they're a bit too sexual and they don't like doing that.
No, I'd agree there. Yeah, I'd say probably the Core Knight stuff.
The blade stuff. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Unless again they just go generic warriors, which they could do.
Which is very likely because then you've got like a 1-to-1 with the Stormcast, haven't you?
Yeah.
Stormcast being big armored guys, Chaos Warriors big armored guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make a lot more sense than getting into the weirder parts.
I would agree.
Actually, the more I think about it, I think the Tzeentchian stuff's probably the most AOS because you do have a lot of weird shit in there.
Maybe. I just don't think they care enough about Tzeentch to put him in a video game on his own to be the main choice for the first choice for Chaos.
I don't see that happening. Maybe as a an expansion later on, but definitely not to start with. Nah, it would just be undivided. It would just be the hordes of Archeon.
Yeah, like in terms of like the things that get picked, like primarily, I think they go usually Warriors of Chaos first, then Nurgle and Khorne. Nurgle's getting a lot of love at the moment, but I still think
Yeah,
they'd probably go a bit more with Khorne. Then it's Zinch. Zinch is definitely number 3 spot because they'd rather do Zinch than ever try and worry about like sexuality in a video game,
yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah.
fair enough because kids would play it, so that makes sense. But that's
Absolutely.
that's definitely a thing.
Do you often find it weird how much since AOS started, Nurgle has just been like front and center when it came to chaos?
Yeah, and yet not really had a massive model range, which
No,
is weird.
but fiction-wise and background-wise, the Chaos Power with the most stuff out there. It's
Yeah, it's
really
weird.
strange. Yeah,
Yeah, you would have thought
definitely
it'd
had
be
the most
Khorne.
exploration. Same, but Corn was there at the beginning, and then that was about it.
He's just chilled out. His people are just eating people.
Yeah,
It almost feels like Khorne's lot are the orcs. Like in Dawn of War, they're there to fight things, but there's a bigger, more imposing threat behind them.
yeah, yeah. No, I can see that. I think
Yeah,
it's a weird one, isn't it? That Corn really doesn't seem to have had much of a say in AOS. Nurgle's had a massive say. Zeech has been all over the place.
mm-hmm.
Slaanesh, well, Slaanesh is missing, so
I
missing
suppose
Christian.
his faction's doing fine. I guess they
Oh
haven't
yeah,
really
yeah.
got pushed since Sigvald. I don't think.
No, no. Well, it's an AOS faction. You know,
Haha,
how
yeah.
many pushes is he going to get?
Well, hopefully Cities of Sigma. Maybe.
Well, I mean, yeah, that seems to have had a massive push,
Yeah,
thankfully.
yeah.
So,
Like I say, just because of the amount of people I saw today getting that box set and
yeah,
like painting it already, it shows that
mm,
like if people are already getting that through the post, for like the influencers to paint that shows that GW's pushing it hard.
absolutely, absolutely. And you had a pre-order that had the queue, and yeah, that's
Oh yeah,
we had the queue for the 10th Ed 40K. So that's a big release. That's not something you see much of these days. So
no,
yeah,
agreed.
okay. Hopefully this is a turning point for AOS, and we start getting a bit more.
I guess it just depends on the release schedule. Do they
Yeah.
keep pushing it, or do they just go, yeah,
Well, that's what I mean. I don't mean we get more as in we get more miniatures or we get more books.
No.
I mean just get more momentum going again,
Yeah.
because that's the thing that this edition of AOS has just not had any of. And
We're gonna push out and expand the realms. Yeah, whatever. I'll do it tomorrow.
I think that's the irritating thing, actually. You've just hit the nail absolutely bang on the head. Why it pisses me off so much is that Soul Wars was very much a back foot storyline. It's everyone, having to deal with this influx of the undead and pushing back against it, and loads of momentum. Did loads and loads and loads of stuff, loads of fluff, loads of fiction, loads of interesting concepts. This one, where we're going out to explore the mortal realms to bring civilization back.
Did you do anything? Yes. What did you do? I don't know. Something.
We've
We'll
got
we'll
this.
tell you about it one day, maybe. Oh.
We've got this really good book that sets everything up beautifully.
Oh, that's good. No more.
No, no more. Here's a dragon. Bye.
Woo. We'll see. It might be fine. This might be the turning point that we've hoped for.
Yeah,
I
fingers
hope.
crossed. Everything crossed.
Yeah.
Need it. So, with all that being said, then Andy, it's been a really, really nice chat this evening. I don't know how interesting it is for people listening tonight, but I've enjoyed the shit out of this.
Yeah.
So, where can people find you if they so wish to discover you, hunt you down, and put you in a museum?
I'm on the Moonbase 2 podcast with me and Mikey talking about Transformers on Sunday each and every week on Twitch as Decade Andy and YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast. Also on YouTube as Decade Andy as well, where I stream. Same for my Twitch channel. Do video games and whatnot. Playing Darkest Dungeon at the moment. That's a very good game. Very good game. Very good game. Lots
Excellent.
of fun.
Would you play the Dawn of War 1 for your Twitch channel?
I did one stream of it and it was okay. I don't know if I don't know. I could go back and play the first one again.
Would you do a hate playthrough of Dawn of War 3 for your Twitch?
No. No. It's because it's not fun to play. If it was
No.
somewhat fun to play, I'd do it, but it's just not fun. And it's not. It doesn't have like cringy stuff anyway. You go, ooh. It's
Hmm.
just like, ugh, it's boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the issue with it. It's dull as dishwater. Maybe I'd go back to Dawn of War 1 and play that again. I could do that. I could do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What about you, Gruff? Where can people find you if they don't know?
You can find me. Well, you can find the Fluffenhammer at
Where can
pretty
people
much
buy T-shirts for the Fluffenhammer?
redbubble.com/Fluffenhammer merch.
Oh my god, there you go.
So there are 12 T-shirt designs you can buy. You can also get them all in stickers, mugs, and other things.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, what are the other things? Like dildos?
yeah, shower curtain.
Oh, that's not a dildo. Well, it could be
No,
used as one, I suppose.
you'd have to really wrap it up tight.
Oh, that's the best type.
A lot of infection, not good. um, yeah, I mean, you can even get like little stickers of the designs if you so wish to have stickers. You know, you can do all
Nice.
that. All good. Yeah, fine.
Oh, you're gonna have to update that and have our frog on.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put the frog on actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will sort that out this weekend. Actually, I'll get the frog up.
Yeah.
Frogger watching you. Um, so yeah, you can find the Fluff and Hammer on Twitter, on Threads, on Blue Sky, on Facebook, on Instagram, also on Reddit. But I've kind of like stopped updating Reddit now because I wasn't getting any real response out of that one. So I've kind of come off Reddit.
One
now,
less
I
thing
think.
to worry about because there's already so many things you've got to run.
Yeah, there's so many things I'm going to get out every day.
Yeah.
Every single morning.
Yep.
As for myself, you can find my personal creativity at adnickel.weebly.com. That has all my art. It has my short stories. It has 3 audiobooks now. All 3 audiobooks are now up, which is Mean Streets, a nostalgic look at the 2D fighter. There's also A Sense of Unease, written by James Norfolk and read by me. And there is I've forgotten the name of my own book, The Entropic Diaries, which is my own short stories, done as an audiobook, which you can download for free. Go on. Go on. You know you want to. Give it a
Do
try.
it.
Go
Yeah.
on. I've got, there's a story in there about a nightlight. And it's probably the darkest thing I've ever written. It's oh yeah, I remember every time I've given it to anyone to have a read through, it starts off. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, oh God. So I was quite proud of that one. No, nobody likes the ending of that one. And that's pretty much everything for me. So thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and we will see you next time. Good night.
Bye.
Breaks out of control, takes the wheels, don't know where to run. Immediate threat of destruction. Conditional hate, they're sealing of fate, conspiracy. Restrained by the ashes under me. Shameful within. Was taken in my will. For supremacy, you can't deny. You by agony, to realize. Hate, rage, shame. There's a ministry of self-denial. Violent legacy, you realize. Hate, rage, empty arms of anger. I've got no regrets, your venomous breath keeps haunting me. Damage done, there's still nothing. I'm lifting my curse, in hatred I burn my enemies. Subliminal read my medicine. Chain for within, forsaken my will. For supremacy, you can't deny your agony to evil rise. Hate, rage, shame, and the ministry of self-denial. By the legacy you realize. Hate, rage, and the odds of anger.